hold on.
And go!
Welcome back, everyone, to our episode 6 Book of Boba Fett roundtable. I am one of your co-hosts, Carter or Cartuditu, joined by Luke, Podswan Podcast, Hereth Productions up there, my co-host, and Char J. So we thank you guys all for joining. This week's episode of Book of Boba Fett was a banger, and I think everyone could kind of agree on that. So I've been super excited, as I'm sure all of you guys have been excited to talk about this all week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
This has been like after the episode aired, I was like, wow, this roundtable is going to be an interesting.
It's gonna be
It's going to be fun. We're gonna have a lot to unpack. That's for sure.
I just love how in our reaction we were just like, this is the entire breakdown portion.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, and what makes it even better is that we have a spectacular lineup of guests tonight. So, without further ado, let's start bring in our guests on this week.
Good.
So first, we will bring on Gray. Gray, how's it going?
Hello.
How's it going?
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. So you gotta know how we do it. We're just gonna, who are you? Where can we find you? And then what has been your favorite moment of Book of Boba Fett this far out of any episode? So episode 1 through 6.
Okay, so I'm Dawn of the Grey on TikTok. That's where you can find me. I'm on YouTube, but everybody else's channels. And my favorite Boba Fett part was Cad Bane. Flat out. All around, I lost it over Cad Bane.
Yes. Can we see the tattoo?
Okay, sure, yeah. So Cad Bane is one of my favorite characters, and so I tattooed him on my forearm. And sorry
That's
that I
awesome.
can't give it anything other than upside down. So
that is awesome.
And there we go. And then the front of his hat and face. Yeah, there we go.
I feel like not many people have a Cad Bane tattoo. I feel like you're like
I haven't seen one yet.
Select few. That is so cool. But yeah, Gray, thank you so much for joining us. And let's bring on our next guest, Michelle.
Wait, hold on. There we go.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We really appreciate it. I also like your shirt. I just noticed that it was Boba Fett.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So same questions we asked Gray. Who are you? Where can we find you? And then what's your favorite moment of Boba Fett this far?
All right, so I'm Michelle. You can find me on mainly TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at times. Post, all things Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter. My favorite moment so far would probably have to be the interaction between Luke and Ahsoka. I think that just meant like so much to so many people, and I was crying the entire time. It was just so crazy that that's canon now. I can't process it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And that's like, I feel like a question a lot of people ask, like, have Luke and Ahsoka ever met? And for forever, everyone's answer was, I don't know.
Right.
And now it's like, finally, yes, they have. So I also wonder if we're going to see, which we'll get into this later on, but like, I wonder if we're going to see a flashback eventually of like their first interaction. Because I think that would be really interesting.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got to. But let's bring in our next guest, Bale.
There's a delay.
What's up? I'm GrandmasterBale.
Bale.
All right, I'll make my entrance. I'm GrandmasterBale on TikTok. That's mainly where you can find me. I'm on Twitter, but I probably talk utter nonsense on there, so probably not worth going on that one. My favorite moment of Book of Boba so far is probably from episode 4 when he's hunting down the Nikto bikers. I love that entire sequence and like the look Tamura Morrison has on his face. Like, I like all the other stuff, yeah, but this is the best like Boba part by far for me, really.
Yeah. No, yeah, that he just looks like a menace in that scene. Looking like a straight menace. And next let's bring on Okiro.
What's up, everyone?
I said it right? Okiro?
Yeah, it's Okiro, not Okiro. What's up, everyone? I'm Okiro. You can find me on YouTube. That's where I'm supposed to be making content. Ignore the fact that I haven't uploaded in a month, but that's my main place of operation. My favorite episode of the Book of Boba Fett, favorite moment was, what was it? The Sky Ring, the City Ring, whatever that ring was in like episode
Halo
4.
ring?
Yep, chapter.
The Halo
chapter
ring.
5.
That's it. Chapter 5.
It is kind of sick.
It was
I have
Isolation
been
03.
craving a city again in
Yeah.
Star Wars. So just seeing that Halo sneaking into my Star Wars, I'm like, yes, give this to me. Never put me back. I love this.
That's
Come on, you're on my
awesome.
server. You've been saying it wrong.
Come on, Chris, man.
That's hilarious.
I need to find a new lawyer.
Oh, uh-oh.
Shoot.
That's gonna.
Oh,
that's
Chris,
gonna.
you'll get replaced.
Yeah.
No, I love him. He's my brother.
Anyway.
Awesome. And our final guest we have on tonight is Vanessa.
Oh, look, it's Baby Yoda.
Oh,
Grogu.
Oh, sorry.
Grogu.
I see what you did there.
Vanessa.
and
Okay,
Vanessa, where can we
um,
find you? And what's your favorite part of Boba Fett so far?
Yes, I am Vanessa, and my TikTok is. Sorry, Vanessa's.
Trying so hard to
Um,
line it up.
Yeah, it's fun. I do start off as art content. The past few videos have been just like me shit posting, but I still plan on doing art.
Shit posting is the best.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah. I came home from the dentist and I was like, I'm just gonna make a video. Like that's been my approach. I don't plan them. I just do them in the moment. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was looking at the chat of the thing. Yes, my favorite parts have been in episode 2 and exploring the culture of the Tuscans, particularly the battle dance at the end of the episode, as well as how he builds his own staff and that whole ritual of him becoming part of the tribe. I thought that was so beautiful and so amazing. I absolutely love that. So that was like really cool for me, just like expanding our knowledge of their culture. But then also in the past episode, I was really hit, like, the SpongeBob gif of him stabbing himself with his own spatula. That was watching the entire last episode.
Oh
But
God.
when they replicate him carrying Yoda, but instead he's got Grogu.
Yes.
And just the whole Empire Strikes Back, all the parallels, and that just hit me in the gut because that is like, that movie means so much to me. So yeah, those are like my top 2.
Awesome.
Some
Yes.
evil person made a TikTok pointing out that parallel with the song When I Was Young, and I had emotional damage from that. I'm gonna hunt them down and hurt them.
I saw a
Physical
few edits
violence.
where like Luke was like mid flip and it switched
Yes.
movies.
I saw
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Oh my gosh. So good.
Oh,
And
God,
then
that
we'll do the
hurt.
same thing for our 3 other hosts. So Luke, Hereth, and Char, whoever wants to go first.
Char, you go
Go.
first.
Okay.
Whoever wants to, no
Oh, you want me to go
chance.
first? I mean, my tacos.
Yeah, wait. Hey, come on. You snooze, you lose. Eat your tacos later.
Hey, I'm
Just
listening
show
to you
us the
anyway.
tacos.
But he's not really snoozing. He's
you
just
want to
eating.
see my tacos here?
I want to know what
Look
kind
at-
of
look at 'em.
tacos you
Look at
have.
that, look at
You know,
that.
what kind
Look
of
at that.
taco is
Look
it?
at
That's
that.
what I say for a minute.
Anyway.
You're just eating foil.
Is it just like a steak? Like
Steak tacos, yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, I'm Luke's co-host on the Pod Ones podcast, Char J, and I would have to say my favorite moment of the Book of Boba Fett so far is the exact one that Bale said. It's the exact
Yes,
same one.
sir.
That scene where you see Slave One just go, and then you see that angry look on his face. I'm like, oh my god, this is Boba Fett. This is Boba Fett. Because I know
That
there
was
was
my-
thoughts, but people saying that this is not my Boba Fett, and everyone, I was like, you want to fact check that? You want to fact check that? But
Yeah.
when he's flying and taking out all of those bikers, I was like, this is justice done well.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Agree.
Yeah. And Hereth.
I'll go next, I guess. Hi, I'm Hereth Productions. I'm a host of They Fly Now show. I'll let Carter introduce all the usual like sayings we usually do when we do They Fly Now. But my favorite moment, I would have to agree with Gray, has to be the introduction of Cad Bane, because during our reaction, we flipped the hell out. We're like, no.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And Luke, same thing to you.
I'm Luke. I'm the better half of the Pod Once podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Yo.
I'm
Okay.
kidding.
Screw you.
I'm
Woke up and
kidding.
chose
I'm kidding.
violence.
It's all jokes. There's
It's not
no
a good
hate there.
proposal that'll make us mutually beneficial. Fuck you.
Yeah, well,
Kidding.
hey,
Part of my language.
So like, I would love to say Ahsoka and Luke's connection from this last episode, but anything with Black Chrysanthemum in it, I want more of that guy. He's my boy, and if I could just get a show of him like ripping arms off, I'd be satisfied. I'd be
Man, I
satisfied.
awfully hope he doesn't die next episode.
Shut your mouth!
I know.
love
That's what
it.
I'm
He's
scared
not gonna
about
die.
with Cad Bane.
He's not
I'm
gonna
so
die.
scared people are gonna die.
Oh, I
Morning.
think Cad's a goner.
Oh
don't-
no! Don't say that.
Don't jinx it.
Yo,
It had to happen
we're
at
getting
some
ahead of
point, Gray.
ourselves right now.
True.
I know.
It
Getting
has
ahead.
to happen at some point, Gray. He's gonna die by the hands of my boy.
Oh my
Wakanda
god.
Chewie.
This is an unexpected rivalry, Gray and Char.
I love Gray, but like she's a Cad Bane fan and I'm a Boba Fett fan, so it's like.
Hey man,
Yeah,
I
Michelle's
love
also a
Boba
Cad
Fett.
Bane fan. So what are you talking
I
about?
love Boba
I'm
Fett
just-
too.
You've got the new one. I need.
I
Yeah,
think
but that
something
boy's
else
gonna
is
kill
gonna
your
happen.
guy.
I
do you
don't
think?
think Boba's gonna kill Cad Bane. I was talking to my friend about what we think is gonna happen, and since we all think Grogu's probably gonna end up choosing Mando, Luke's gonna bring him to Tatooine, and
Oh,
he's gonna come in the middle
no.
of the fight,
Oh
and then
my
it's gonna be Luke versus
gosh.
Cad Bane, and that's what my friend said, and I am a firm believer of that now.
I also heard that. Me and actually one of my friends were talking about it, and he was like, it would make a lot of sense for Grogu to pick Luke at the beginning of the next episode. And I don't want to get too far ahead, but like then like they're getting beat down pretty bad, and then who comes and saves them again? Luke Skywalker.
Oh,
I mean, personally, I don't know if I really want another Force user coming in to save the day again. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but again,
True.
it's
I
the,
can't-
We could
What
do
is
it
Luke
now.
gonna do though if he sees Boba Fett? Because
Oh,
is he
Boba's
gonna
not
have
be
like?
happy to
wanna
see
know.
him.
Oh, that.
He'd be
I- is he-
like,
is he
wait,
gonna-
hold on.
He's
You
gonna, like-
got out of there?
He's like, wait, he's gonna be looking at Boba like, how'd you get? One, how did you get out of the tentacle monster? Two, why are you ruining my home planet?
Oh,
Gonna
and
come in with a
before
of
we
other stuff.
continue any further,
Yes.
spoiler warning for Book of Boba Fett.
We just
Chapter
spoiled the
6.
Hold
That's a
on.
little-
All right, there's
Just
your
in
warning.
case.
That is your one warning. If you haven't seen it, get out now.
Pause,
If you
watch.
if you haven't
and
seen the
come
new
back.
episode, then you shouldn't even be here.
It's not like
I
the-
really
the-
hope everyone on the panel has watched it.
I like.
You've
I
had,
like
I
the
actually-
title
you've had
of
2
the-
days.
Times.
You've had over 2
I
days.
haven't seen.
podcast
I
is-
actually haven't seen the show once. I don't even know what we're talking about. I just stumbled in here.
My reaction, I
I
was
just
like,
read about it on
I just
Twitter.
knew what happened without watching it. Yeah.
That would be just like the biggest like flex.
It's
don't have
almost
the-
like
Oh,
bashing
I
a
don't
book
have no
without
idea
reading
I
what
don't
it.
we're
have Disney
talking
Plus. I
about.
have Twitter.
I'm just here.
Oh god.
That's just the biggest respect.
I just enjoy your companies.
I did think Cobb Vanth really
Oh,
took the show in some of his spots, though. He
Completely
was-
agree.
I love his
Amazing.
whole opening.
And because the
read
Aftermath is
Aftermath.
my
I
favorite
literally-
trilogy, and that's where Cobb Vanth comes from. I love that guy.
I literally finished Aftermath like last week. I think probably like last Thursday or something. So whenever he came, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just read about you like a few days ago." Now you're making it live action.
All right, Char.
But yeah,
For sure.
again, we want to make this conversational as possible. So like, if you feel like you want to or not interrupt, but like add anything, go right ahead.
Yep.
And
Do I have to raise
yeah,
my hand?
It's
No,
like
you don't have to
school.
raise your hand. We can go around individually and ask you guys.
sir, could I add some more?
Well, just
Okay.
ask the
That's
question.
a
then
really
people can
bad
jump in.
impression.
That's how we'll do it. Just
Okay.
jump in if
So the
you
first
want to be
question-
the first person to come in.
The first question is: with this episode having plenty of them, what was your favorite scene from this episode specifically?
Ooh.
I know that Gray she's already talked about her favorite scene. I know Michelle's
Yeah.
talked about the interaction between Luke and Ahsoka, and
If you picked one from this episode, if your favorite scene from the series from this episode,
Pick another one.
Okay.
Isn't my favorite, but was painful.
Okay, that works. That's fine.
Yeah, another Order 66 scene.
Oh,
I didn't need to
I
see
love
that
those.
again. I was
That was
crying
so
at
unnecessary.
so much death.
Makes my day.
which do we know which Jedi they were? Because
No.
it wasn't what's his
No.
name. It was
No,
not
it
what's his
wasn't.
name.
It was
from-
not Syndraulic.
It was not Syndrome.
A lot of people
Guys,
think
I'm
that
still holding out hope that
It
this
wasn't
like
him.
a retcon and like he escaped Anakin in episode 3 and was like, I gotta protect the child. And then
Oh
he
yeah,
gets
because
gay.
he escaped Anakin.
I don't know if any of you noticed this. I had this raised to my attention by, I think the TikToker's name's like Sam Fisto. And yes, the Barriss Offee thing.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
there is one of two things here in this Order 66 scene, right? Either one, there's only one other render I've seen of the Jedi Temple corridor, and that's used in the Clone Wars, and that's got the thing on the door. So they could have just reused the render, thought, oh, balls, we left that in. Or that it's an actual thing, so it could potentially have something to do with her. But who knows? I think we'll find out in Kenobi, but
Oh.
again, who knows?
Kenobi.
Don't tempt me with don't guys.
In my mouth.
Are you trying to get me to like overtake this whole thing and
Sorry.
just talk about Kenobi? We're not. It's not the time for this right now. Sorry.
He was hoping for Kenobi.
Yep.
Why are we here?
There we go.
I thought they did Ahsoka even better than the Mandalorian.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody noticed, but her headdress, the width of it was significantly thicker, and her montrails came out and back like a good 2 inches further, and then her
Yeah.
laku was at least 3 inches longer, and the white paint on her face was just so detailed, and her mannerisms. It's like she's just studied the whole time to be Ahsoka.
They move as
She's-
well.
Yeah, she's
Like,
her
they- you can see them
mannerisms are
swaying, doing their moving.
perfect. She put on a lot of muscle tone, and I think Rosario Dawson just killed it as Ahsoka in this. I thought she did okay in Mando, but I thought she just killed it in this.
I will say she's on thin ice, and we'll get to the reasons on why later. She's on
What?
thin ice.
I'm starting to like Grandmaster Bale over here. Besides,
Besides,
Oh, it's just my British charm.
did I miss something with her?
I must have missed
a
something.
little bit. I had a little
We'll
problem
go
with
into it
this week's
later.
episode too.
I don't want to go into a rant this early on.
Okay.
Don't tell me you guys didn't like Rent.
Which
Right.
Rent?
Yeah.
I love
Don't
Rent.
tell me that
I
you did
love
not
Rent.
like Rent. That's just
What is
atrocity.
It's a musical.
The musical.
musical.
With
I
Rosario
haven't
Dawson.
I love Rent.
I've never even
The
watched it.
900 6,000
1,600
minutes.
minutes.
I've not watched
only
a single
2,500,
thing.
600 minutes.
Yes,
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
I
I'm
think
not
it's
seeing pictures.
9,000,
It looks like we're,
2,500.
it
Wait,
looks like we're just gonna have to introduce
9,000.
We're just gonna get
Right.
copyrighted strike as YouTube just takes out our video because
Yeah.
it's taking too long.
What is it? It's 925,600 minutes.
Yeah, 5,025. Yeah.
Here we go.
Nine-
Something 500 Order 66s and a lot of dead younglings.
Oh, good lord. All right.
Damn.
All right. Okay. All right. Sorry. Get back. Who are we on?
Yeah,
for
who are we
favorite?
on?
I was,
Also,
I was
I'm
done.
sorry,
I was
Chris, in
talking
the
about
chat.
Ahsoka.
I'm
recent
sorry, Chris.
episode.
I'd like to apologize to Chris in the chat because I have sung that song before in choir. So
And-
I just,
And I also need to apologize to Chris. I have failed you.
Your lawyer has turned on you.
This has already happened once
Anyway,
before.
sorry. We've gone off the rails already, and this
Yeah.
usually doesn't happen this quickly. But
well.
who's next? Who's favorite? Or I didn't think Gray was done. She was
I
talking
was
about the
done.
Leku.
Mhm.
Were you? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Just thought Ahsoka was amazing.
Why isn't she?
525,000.
All right. Let it go. Let it go.
Not even
We're
not
quarter
even-
into the-
We keep singing this. I'm gonna start singing Encanto songs. So
Oh,
I've never watched a
Oh.
single musical in my life, and this is
Oh,
not
no.
encouraging me to.
Just throw Carter at the end like
Encanto's
we did for
very
Avatar.
Encanto's
Carter?
very
I
good.
did it last
Okay,
week.
sorry.
Don't make me do it again.
Last
What
I
did you
checked,
do to me
Encanto
last
wasn't
week?
titled Book of Boba Fett.
I think
Let's
I
get
moved
back
a whole
on
bunch
to
of
point.
people around last week. But anyway, sorry. I
No,
digress.
you did. That's right. You did. For some odd reason. I forget
did.
what it was.
Lorax, I
Um,
would, but I have to take the headset off, and that's like it requires me to move myself.
Bale,
Bale
what
doesn't like
was your favorite part?
My
This
favorite
episode?
part of the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very good question because first time around I watched it, I wasn't particularly pleased with it. I'll talk about that more later. Because it is a hot take that I got grilled for very quickly. But I'd say probably I'd say Cad Bane. Like overall, I was shocked because in canon I thought he was dead. I didn't think he was still alive. I saw the hat and I thought, oh, he's just brought Embo in. I'm like, wait a minute, that hat's too small and there's no dog. Oh no! Oh no! And we got Cad Bane, and anyone complaining about his appearance, you know where the door is. You can leave through it.
I agree with
but
that
it is-
statement
Yeah,
so
it's-
much.
I agree.
He's just aged. Come on.
He's older. It's been
And
decades.
they get lighter.
Yeah.
The Duros
Yes.
get lighter when they age.
It's
and
been
he's like
it's been
75.
30 years. It's been 30 years.
Yeah,
since
he's
the
like
comic
Listen.
book.
75 years old.
We're in a pandemic. Don't shame people because they can't get some sun.
Agreed. And you know what? Some of us put on a couple of pounds. Leave us alone, all
I
right?
live
that's
in
why
Washington
they're-
State. We don't have sun.
That's why the head's also slightly smaller than the.
What is the sun?
That's also
I
why the
live
head's
near
slightly
Seattle.
smaller. It's been
There's no
compacted by the
sun.
mask.
what is this?
Who's next? Who else have we not heard from?
I'm
Okiro
volunteering Vanessa.
and Okiro, Vanessa, and then if we all want to go too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let Vanessa go first.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, what a gentleman. What a gentleman. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
As an Englishman, I respect you, sir.
I did mention Luke with the Grogu backpack, but afterwards, when Grogu finally learns how to do all the flips and whatnot,
That's great.
I like the demonstration there.
I was just, why not?
Oh.
But the music in that scene is just like really what got to me, and also just everything that was happening in that whole montage, seeing how Luke was taking from different things that he had learned from Yoda and Obi-Wan and applying it to his own school. And I mean, Grogu is kind of like a test subject for Luke in a way because he is his first student. So it is really interesting to not only see that, but then also compare it to how he assesses like his view of the Jedi and the Jedi Code in The Last Jedi, and just how Grogu and that Grogu and like his relationship with him kind of sets off that sort of trajectory for his disdain for the Jedi, and then with Rey and it all coming full circle. But yeah, I really loved that training scene. It was just I love children in Star Wars. That sounds bad at first.
I do too.
As Star Wars fans, we understand what you mean.
You were
No,
doing
young
so
ladies do
well.
It reminded me of I think Camilla posted a TikTok about this when Bad Batch was happening, and that one shot in Bad Batch when Omega, she had never left Kamino before, and she is finally in space, and you just see like her going into hyperspace for the first time, like that sort of innocence. It's just like you're so amazed, and like I relate to that in a way because like that's how I felt when I first watched Star Wars for the first time, like when I was a kid, and it's just so it's just such a beautiful feeling, and I love how they're able to like portray that in the world. It's just very cool.
I
What
cried when
is
she saw the
this?
dirt.
That will be dirt.
Oh
I
yeah,
cried. I thought that was,
It was-
so emotional and
it was
sweet
so
when she saw the
wholesome.
dirt.
She was just like, "This is dirt." Yes, it is dirt.
Yes, it is.
I'm surprised it didn't become a meme.
Yeah.
So
I am
am
also
I,
quite
actually.
surprised. Yeah.
We
Thinking
could just
about
revive. We could just revive it and just be like, "There you go, now it's a meme."
Yeah.
it. Revive bad
Hey,
with
Luke, do you
meme
want to pull up
culture.
that comment from Jesse? Jesse,
Which
no,
one?
no,
This
the
one?
He said, I like when Grogu gets shot.
I actually love that. I thought it was so funny.
I
Jesse,
did,
come
yeah.
Oh, when he
on.
gets shot and he
That
goes,
was
his-
hilarious.
It was
funny.
it was
Back
kind of
It
it
was
was kind of
cute.
funny because it's like we're watching it and me and Char like the entire time. If you guys go back and watch the watch along, I'm like I'm like hysterical during this entire episode because especially during like the beginning and like I was like, and then I saw Grogu get shot and I was like, ah, that's funny.
It's like when
And
you
then
see
I was
little
like, oh,
kids
evil
get
man.
knocked over.
that's kind of bad,
funny.
but you know, it is
Oh,
what it is.
If we're talking about Grogu, there's with the frogs where Luke lifts all of the
Yes.
frogs.
Yes,
The little
was so
expression on my little heart melted. Honestly, it was so cute. I love him. I honestly in that one moment I was so close to buying like the 500 quid prop replica of Grogu that
Bro.
they used in The Mandalorian. I was like, this is a lot of money, but I now want it.
Yeah, those are so tempting. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
so wholesome.
But like everything with Luke and Grogu was just so wholesome.
Mhm.
Amazing.
For real.
And
Yeah, which
how
have you-
and how good Luke looked. Oh
Yes.
my
Oh
Yeah.
my
I mean,
It's
like,
gosh.
Don't get me
emotional in and of
started.
itself.
flawless.
God.
I showed that to my dad and I was like, who is this? And he went, oh, that's Mark Hamill. That has to be from like the 80s, right? And I went, nope, it's from 2
That
days
was from
ago."
last week. It's mad.
Yeah,
Char,
has
what's
everyone,
your-
has everyone,
What's your favorite moment, Char?
My favorite moment from the episode, it probably would have to be when Yoda and Grogu were walking. No, not Yoda. Luke and Grogu were walking together,
I was gonna say,
and
what
Luke was like,
version did I
"You
watch?
remind me of a great deal of someone that I
Oh my God.
remember." And then he said his name was Yoda. He was small like you, but his heart was huge. And the Yoda's theme started playing. Oh my god, I got so emotional.
Bro,
I
yeah.
Because-
saw your clip.
Because
yeah.
how much I
It's so
resonate with The
wholesome.
Empire Strikes Back and
Mhm.
everything that's involved with that movie just flourishes in this episode. And has everyone gone?
sorry, Char. But this is our.
Why
This
is
is
giving
our,
like this emotional, heartfelt
know.
thing?
Hold on. We here at the
Timing.
Podwans podcast do not condone child violence, but however, we do find it hilarious.
You're gonna make a terrible father
Does
one day,
anybody
Luke.
find the little compilations of kids getting knocked over by like dogs and cats instead
Okay.
of like stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
especially
funny.
like the ones where when dogs like run into the kid
Run
and they're
into
like,
it, they go fly, and you're like,
We're gonna go an entire
they
side.
go,
fly
and they
now?
go down
Just
like those slip and
kids being
slides and
dumb.
they just they just mess up. It's I don't know why, but it's so funny.
so
Wait,
I love
funny.
when kids fall and then
Yes.
like let's say they fall like flat on their face, and then they just like they look up and they just like haven't like they're
Try-
still processing it, and then
Try
they
being a
start, like,
parent and not
it's like-
laughing at your child when they're doing that.
I saw one clip. It was a kid trying to push a lady into a river. He just slid past. Went straight face down into the river.
Vanessa, it's always they look up and they go,
Oh dear.
But Char, sorry, I cut you off.
Yes,
no, go
yes, you
ahead.
need to go
Sorry.
back.
Has everyone gone yet for that question?
Yeah.
Luke Hereth?
Oh,
No, no,
Okiro hasn't.
Oh,
I forgot. I forgot I didn't even go. My favorite moment of the episode. It actually changed. At first, it was Luke, and then that scene happened at the ending. So I'm like, okay, I'm changing my mind. And then it was Cobb Van. Like whenever he was on screen, every moment of his just. I didn't really get to see him as a threatening person in The Mandalorian, but here
Yeah.
he was.
Dude,
He was
rather
just
err on the side of
intimidating.
safety.
the pikes at the beginning. It was just. I instantly thought of Deadeye in
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you played Overwatch. The ability McCree has, where he will just take out like 4 people at once. I'm like, my God, that is intimidating.
Think it
I
through.
would like
it
to see
through.
some standoffs.
And even his
I-
tone, it felt like, oh, sorry.
Wait, no, I'll let you go and then I'll say my thing.
Like even his tone, it felt so different how he was acting. He wasn't being like he wasn't trying to like charm Din out to dinner. He really felt like he was just going to shoot everyone in the episode. And even when he met Mr. Bane, who is still alive, and I love that.
Mr. Bane.
It just felt like these two giant obstacles meeting, and I love that. I actually think he could have took Cad if it wasn't for his
If he
deputy.
didn't get distracted, heck yeah,
Yeah.
he would have taken Cad.
I think he
You
would. I think he would have taken him.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Cad's old now.
Cad is
Yeah.
old.
And if you could tell, he did not even start to pull his gun until Cobb looked over at his deputy. And I don't think he meant to kill him
Yeah.
because he only shot him in the shoulder and then
Oh,
just
no,
unloaded on the deputy.
I watched
The
the
deputy got
subtitles. The
smoked.
subtitles are like get him a med
Yes.
pack, so he's
Yeah, the
clearly,
subtitles are like,
Yeah,
get the
he's
med
fine. He was
pack,
just
he's
hit in the shoulder.
injured.
Oh, he's
he's
okay.
clearly not
Oh.
dead.
Well, after seeing what he did to Hunter in the Bad Batch, it
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
this is not gonna end.
Although,
well.
in fairness, Hunter's not like
A
quick draw.
yeah.
Hunter's
Guy,
like
to be
10
fair.
years old. I mean,
Also, I would like to add, after like rewatching the episode a couple of times, it was clearly apparent that Cad Bane did that on purpose to keep him alive, to kind of scare him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
because he
message.
wants him to tell everybody to not,
Yeah,
Not-
well,
you know, do
I
everything.
don't. I think it's gonna be the exact opposite next.
I think so,
episode, but I
too.
think
I was-
Cad's
I
gonna
was-
say we need to rally our troops and go get.
Yeah,
I was
pretty
going to add really quickly, Okiro, you said Mr. Cad Bane. I'm now expecting Cad Bane to pull up in a tuxedo in the next episode. of the show. I'm Bane, Mr. Cad Bane.
Listen, I have nicknames. I have nicknames for every single character, and like I call him Mr. Cad Bane in my head all the time.
It's. I just imagine the scene. Have you guys all seen Squid Game?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, well, if you have the dinner scene in like this last episode or second last episode, and it's like the three of them, I just picture it being like Cad Bane, Boba, and Finnick all just like staring down each other eating.
Well, like the Spider-Man meme.
Like Shrek, like in Shrek 2.
Yeah.
the culture.
Yeah.
I like how you
Very
could how you could quickly relate to Shrek too, but not
I
Squid
love
Game.
Shrek.
Wait, it's like
I love Shrek.
this is like 50 layers of separation. We went from Boba Fett to Shrek 2.
And
We were
well,
musicals 5
Shrek
minutes
is a
ago,
great
God knows.
franchise. I mean,
It is
Exactly.
this we.
I
oh,
just recently watched it again.
As you
Shrek 2 is a masterpiece. It's just like one of the best. No joke. It is probably one of the best sequels of all time. Shrek 2.
It is
I will
really good.
chill for Shrek 2. It is one of the. It's a beautiful masterpiece. I love
It's
that.
better
film.
than the first one, and that's not really. I mean, and that doesn't happen often. Usually, the sequels are not.
It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Right.
Mm-mm. Except for Empire Strikes Back. Sorry, I don't make the.
I said
plurals.
usually. I said
Yeah.
Not a
usually.
sequel. It's part of a trilogy.
Yeah.
They mentioned it
Okay,
in
all right,
Scream,
I got
so-
you.
in Scream 2. So
All right. No,
Luke,
but-
what's your
but-
favorite note from the episode?
Well, me being the Anakin Skywalker fan, when Ahsoka showed up, and then like when we got like her at the beginning, and he draws his blaster, I'm like, what is she doing here? Like, just like I was just like, oh my god. And then she said, I'm a friend of the family. I was like,
Yeah.
that
Pain.
was. It's like,
oh my god.
I think
Why
when
are
she-
you doing this to me, Dave?
When she
Dave,
showed up,
stop
I
it.
literally yelled, "What?" I
I
was
have-
just watching with my mate. What?
I'm gonna be
What?
I'm gonna have like a whole like when we get Kenobi, I'm just gonna be a complete wreck. So
Yeah.
it's not gonna be
Hareth
fun.
broke his chair.
Yeah,
No
Hereth did break his
reaction. We both, because I like looked away and I looked up. I went, oh!
chair. But I would say like the first part of the episode, like the whole episode, the episode as a whole was great, but I really enjoyed the stuff with Luke and in Ahsoka because it's like she says you're just like your father, and it's just like, oh god, my god, what have they talked about?
Straight in the feels.
I need in the Ahsoka show her meeting up with Luke after he gets Grogu, and like her breaking down like what kind of person he was. And just like, and then have Luke and have Anakin and Obi-Wan pop up as Force ghosts.
Oh, don't
And like
even.
to see
Don't
okay,
even.
everybody knows that illustration done that was done a while back, right? Like the introduction of Luke and Ahsoka's like crying to him. That's what I want to see. And then I also kind of want to see Ahsoka meet Leia as well to kind of give her a perspective on Padme.
True.
Yes.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Emotional
But, yeah.
damage.
Luke,
Yeah,
Padme.
that was
I love her.
my favorite part of the episode.
Luke.
And then obviously seeing Black Chrysanthemum. was cool
Yeah,
too.
like Ahsoka's like a walking data bank. For
Literally.
Luke
She's
and
like
Leia.
R2.
Clone Wars,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's literally
Um,
like R2.
Luke, I was gonna say you've seen that image of me post like Afterlife season 3. I will be like that if we see
Oh yeah.
Ahsoka and Luke and Anakin stuff. I will bawl my little eyes out.
Well, they gotta find. I mean, they can't do the deep fake with a lot of dialogue. If you didn't notice, they chose really simple words that kept the lettering simple. There was like no S's and stuff, so they can't do a lot of conversation with a deep fake. They would either have to recast or keep the conversation really simple with simple words that don't make you purse your
Yeah.
lips. And there's a
Yeah.
handful of letters that they do not use.
Sebastian
specifically.
Stan has
Yes.
said like he's
Would do it.
open to playing the character,
See,
and
here's
I'm
my
only-
hoping
here's
if
my
they
only
cast
issue.
him, they
That-
But Mark
Here's my only
Hamill
issue.
was
I have
only
an
kind
issue
of
with
okay
that.
with that. He was
I
not. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
watched
I'm
that.
not
I think
big
the
on
like,
thing-
I'm not big on Bucky being Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes Star Wars so special is that it takes these actors and they create the role, right? It's not Sebastian Stan, Luke Skywalker. It's this new person being Luke Skywalker.
Mm.
You know
Yeah,
what
it's
I
like
mean?
Alden,
Like-
Aaron Reich,
like
playing
Alden,
Han Solo.
I love Alden as Han. Everybody
I agree too.
knocks that, but I think he's great.
He did a good job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
but
wasn't
yeah.
saying I wouldn't want to see that. I was just saying they would. My
Yeah.
personal opinion, they would need to recast it to do that.
They would have to, and I'm not opposed to recasting as long as they try and keep it similar to the original, and
Right.
that's their intention. They're not going, okay, we're going to introduce this new guy, and this new guy's going to do a new take on
Yeah.
this person in this era, because that's like, no, that's
think-
that's not.
I think Disney learned their lesson, and they're really focusing on the old. I don't think they would mess it up personally.
Yeah.
And the
Nah,
one thing
I'm all for
about
recasting.
yeah. I mean, it just has to work out. But here's the thing: like, so when Gray was talking about the articulation and the talking, all of that is the used AI. Like that, none of that was actually Mark Hamill.
Why is he
That was
credited in
all
the
purpose,
credits?
all
Because it's
like
him.
unused.
Because his appearance.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone
it's just
knows
his
that's Mark Hamill.
appearance.
Because
Oh, I
It's
did- I
Mark
thought it was his
Hamill, but
voice,
it's like
my
a
bad.
used. His voice is an
Mhm.
AI.
I was
Mhm.
gonna say to that
So-
effect, it's because of Back to the Future 2. They had a whole lawsuit came out of that where you have to credit the original actor and play. It's
Yeah.
a lawsuit. It's you have to legally do
right.
that.
Yeah, it's like less about the production, more about, well, that's just kind of the rules. You have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Which I mean, like obviously, I think you'd have to. I think it just makes sense to credit Mark
Did
Hamill.
someone say lawsuit?
But Carter, what was your favorite part of the episode?
Mine. So I don't know if this is necessarily my favorite, but it's something because like everyone's kind of mentioned, like I think the big moments. But being like the Ezra fan I am, whenever Luke was like, "Are we gonna see you again?" and she was like, "Maybe," and I was like, "Oh, she's going to get Ezra."
That's what I said too. I said it to my
Oh.
husband. I'm like, there she goes to go get Ezra right
I was like,
now.
And that's going to be the Ahsoka show, and then Luke's going to be in the
Yeah.
Ahsoka show. It's going to happen.
Also,
Man, I
I
can't
was
wait.
like, whenever, like, literally, the minute the moment or the show ended, I said to Hereth, I was like, Ahsoka's going to get Ezra. I was like so excited because, like, just her saying that is enough to like keep me satisfied for the next
Literally.
week.
I'll be honest. I'm more hyped for Ahsoka than Kenobi at this point.
I agree. I agree.
Hot take.
I agree.
Yeah.
Me too.
Ahsoka's
I am more
exploring
hyped for
so
Ahsoka
much.
than
It's like
Kenobi.
exploring so much.
Oh, Luke. I'm not saying
There's so
Kenobi's not going to be
much of,
good. I know what to expect.
Galaxy that we haven't gotten already.
It's okay. I forgive you.
the expression of just
we're
very
still
well
friends.
kept rage.
You're still we're still friends.
You
we'll
look
have-
you look so hurt. I've never seen someone look so hurt before and trying to keep it all in.
You know. It is what it is. I've been heartbroken before. I can go through it again.
Anger leads to pain. Pain leads to suffering.
Yeah,
Suffering
but it
leads
needs
to
to
the
death,
dark side,
and we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to go
Yeah.
down to that road.
Good boy.
Nope.
Building on what Carter was saying with that moment, I didn't get this pointed out to me until someone pointed it into VC that the "Will I see you again" is a reference to Anakin and the Phantom Menace. So I said,
Oh God!
it's a callback to that.
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Oh. I
Damn.
don't
Wait,
like
does
that
that
Damn
wait,
you,
wait,
Flo.
wait, wait, wait? Does that
Damn
mean
you,
Ahsoka's
Flo.
gonna? Does that mean that Ahsoka's gonna die? Because like the last time someone said, "Am I gonna see you again?" The next time they met, there was a body. There was a body.
Yeah.
There was a body.
And there was more bodies too. Don't forget that.
Oh,
There were
Yeah.
more bodies,
Oh,
It's
the
there was
men, the
some-
women, and the children too.
and he slaughtered them like animals, and he hated them.
Also,
Just like how he hates sand.
I mean, I hate sand too. I'm excited for Kenobi, but I'm going to go into war flashbacks every single time I see Tatooine.
it's gonna like pick up a grain of sand, and you're just gonna be like, "Nah, I'm gonna have to come back to this later." My
Good thing
rage
I'm
is
going to college in
uncon-
Arizona.
I never want to see it again after Kenobi. If we see Tatooine after Kenobi, I'm gonna cry. No more.
Yeah, to be fair, I can understand that. We have had a lot of Tatooine content.
Yeah.
So much
Hereth.
sand.
But Char,
Or yeah,
You wanna get
Hereth
us
or
off
Char,
with
because
the
we haven't
second
gotten to
question?
either one of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the second question is very similar to what my response was for question one is I was extremely emotional with the parallels between The Empire Strikes Back and this episode. But what were your individual thoughts about Luke training Grogu? Like what were the best parts of that? And like what were your feelings about it?
Real quick, just giving Chris credit.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna have to go cry one second.
Nice.
Oh man. That's
oh
so sad.
no.
Sorry. All right, we're gonna take it off. Go answer Char's
Oh,
question.
no.
Oof.
I've done
Why
my
would
job.
why would you do that?
It's not
Just gonna
my
have to
fault.
put an
Chris
F
was the
in
one
here
that did
now.
it.
Filoni has been on for Chris.
Yeah.
Let's go to Okiro first with that question.
Oh yeah, the training. I have mixed feelings on the training. At least the last part of it, I loved the first part. Like just seeing Mark Hamill said in the gallery for The Mandalorian season 2, his biggest regret when it came to Luke Skywalker was never being able to see the character in his prime. Like he felt like the OT was his origin story, and he's like, well, you never really get to see that for characters. You get to see them basically living their life after their origin story. So for me, it was good to see this Jedi in his prime doing all his little backflips, training Yoda's child support. Like it was really emotional for me being able to see
Yoda's
that.
child support.
And I just love like first he like scolds Grogu like no, stop being the frogs. They were complaining about that in season 2. And then he's like, okay, here are all the frogs. Here you can all see them. Like it was just really sweet to me, and I loved like they did a little fist bump. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Filoni, I get it. You're cutting onions. Stop it, you bastard. And then there was that one part I think it's a test, just because at the end when he tells Grogu he has to choose between basically a life with Din or the life of a Jedi, because well he's gonna outlive Din because he's whatever their species is. I don't know what they are. I'm gonna call them Shreks in my head from now on until I find out.
I mean, it's not confirmed yet, I don't think.
But he's gonna outlive Din, and he says you gotta choose between basically the life of a Jedi or with your friend Din. But I think it's actually a test, because even in The Last Jedi, that the whole topic of that movie wasn't about Luke's attachments led him the wrong way. It was about his fear and his hubris. So that has nothing to do with what he's asking Grogu to choose. I think he wants Grogu to understand what the life of a Jedi is like, because he knows Anakin didn't get that choice. Anakin was just a kid and he didn't know what it meant to be a Jedi. And I think he wants to make sure Grogu understands what the path he's going to choose, because he knows that it's very easy to fall to the dark side. He almost did it. His father did it. And I don't think he knows what Grogu experienced. He saw Order 66 inside Grogu's head. I don't think he wants to make Grogu go down a path that could bring him any more emotional pain if he doesn't have to, because the life of a Jedi is a hard one.
It's an interesting point, because
I
I almost took it as I think what's going to happen, and I guess I just kind of viewed it differently, would be Luke's ego is really big right now. Luke thinks he's on the top of the world right now, and he thinks obviously Grogu would pick this kind of as just like a test. And I think Luke honestly thinks that Grogu's gonna pick the lightsaber, but then I think what's gonna happen is that Grogu's gonna pick the Mando armor, and it's gonna just like hit Luke down a little bit. And then I think in like future media, we're gonna see Luke keep getting hit down, keep getting hit down, keep getting hit down, and then eventually it's gonna lead to where we see him in The Last Jedi.
Potentially. I was going to say quickly, adding on to your point with attachments, I found it mildly, I don't want to say hypocritical with Luke, because he's going on about how attachment is a bad thing, which is what the prequel Jedi's did preach. But willingness to like, yeah, but that's not really what was mentioned in this episode yet. I can understand that, but I'm talking more about how it seems to be portrayed, at least from my perspective. It seems like Luke's attachment to his father, whilst yes, it was wrong, did redeem Vader. And whilst I understand he shouldn't have done it, I think it should at least be a wake-up call to say, look, I think he should be teaching Grogu in moderation, not at all, and then okay, you can do it. Like it's like, I imagine it's like having a kid and saying, don't put your hand in that sweetie jar, and then it's going, or rather than occasionally put your hand in
A
the sweetie
sweetie jar.
Is that not a thing you have there?
What in the
No.
world? Is
No, we
What?
don't. I don't know what that means.
I like it.
Sweets,
I mean,
like
I-
candy, I guess.
Yeah.
Sweet
we
sweets.
call that a
I'm
cookie
going to
jar?
Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna use
I
that
was
from now on.
candy
The
jar.
sweetie
A
jar. I love
sweetie
that.
jar.
Sweetie
love
Candy
that.
jar.
I'm going
basket.
to use that now.
like
A
sweet
jar.
candy, sweet. Point proven. Like he's kind of just. I think it should be moderation from the start, not just don't do it. And honestly, I think I don't see him returning back to Din. I don't think that's going to happen for season 3.
I 100% think he's going back with Din.
Yes.
I
Pump
agree.
Like
Well,
100%. And I didn't feel that Luke like has given him that choice of like, and you might never see Din again. I don't think there was anything behind that except Grogu's aging. I don't think there was any underlining things like I get to keep my family, you don't get to keep yours. I really think that had nothing to do with that. I think it was cut and dry. You age this way, your training's going to take this long, you're going to be super busy, and that's what it's going to be. And then
yeah.
because Mando has that ship with the perfect little Grogu-sized hole in it, they didn't do
Yes.
all that for nothing. And Grogu, if you noticed, he was like really staring at Luke using that lightsaber. Din does not know how to use a lightsaber and has no one to train him. So Grogu could potentially train Din to use that dark saber. And anyway, that's my opinion of that.
Yeah. I mean, I would just see it as because we go through the whole part of like the season 2 finale for me, which made me go, oh my god, this is sad, is Grogu's leaving Din. I think we need to at least have some breathing room where he is away from him and then he comes back.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't think
there's
tying
this
in
whole season of-
immediately is a bit of a smack in the face to the season 2 finale,
Season
if you
2
get what I
finale.
mean.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's gonna come back in the. I don't think Grogu will go back to Din until the season 3 of Mando, and we don't know the time jump that's going to be there.
Yeah.
So he could
That's
still, and we also don't know how long he's
Yeah.
been with Luke or anything by the time we see him now. It could have been a month, or we don't know the amount of training or anything like that.
Yeah, that and like baby Grogu's always been quite central to the plot. When you look at season 1 and season 2, this might be a very hot take. I want something separate from that for a season 3
I do
because we've
too.
had that.
Same.
We've had that for season 1 and
Yeah, I
season
want
2.
the Mandalorian stuff, like all
Yeah,
the-
exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I love the fact that Grogu's getting his screen
But
time
he can
because
be
he's
part of that.
adorable. Who loves
He
him?
could be part of that.
Yeah, I know, but
He was going to have
It's
armor on, and he could even
difficult
probably
in
use
moderation.
the dark saber. I mean, he could be
Oh,
really part of all of that.
he could be, yeah. But I think it's
Yeah.
different. It's difficult to moderate it because of how he was so central. It's kind of like with Padme in the prequels. You have her like central to episode 1 and episode 2, and episode 3 she's kind of just like there. I don't want the same thing to happen to Grogu, but yet again, I want something where Mando can have his own independent, more or less independent story. But again, I'm going to go on a rant.
I think Yoda was a master by 100 years old. Grogu is 50, and also Luke said that he's remembering his training. So Grogu could learn 50 years of training and be very, very adept as a Jedi and still leave Luke.
If only we could get him to talk.
Yes,
he probably can talk. He's just not doing it. And then once he does, he's gonna just talk.
Lazy little boy.
Surely it'd be a bit cheap for all of us and just go.
He has PTSD.
Oh, yeah, I can talk now.
They PTSD make some kids silent for even though they could have the ability to talk, they don't. And he does have PTSD, and he is viewed as the child, and that's actually a really main thing that kids do to control their situations when they have no control of their environment is they stop talking.
Yeah.
True.
Can I ask one question?
Go ahead.
All right.
Do you guys think it's a good thing for Grogu to go back with Din though? Like besides the emotional thing, like just look at like Din's life though. Like
it's not the life for a kid.
Vanessa, what do you think?
I do because he's not a kid.
I was going to say something about this. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, I'll just get straight to it. I was watching it. I watched it maybe 3-4 times this episode, but when I was watching it from my mom the second time, I was paying more attention to the dialogue, and there's a lot of emphasis on the relationship between protection and attachment.
Yes.
And they keep repeating, like Luke says, I will teach you to protect yourself after the Order 66 scene. Then Din, when talking to Ahsoka, he says, like, this armor will protect him, make sure he's protected. But he's more talking about, like, a tangible thing. And I feel like the training will help him be protected. But like you are saying, Gray, like, he can pick it up quick and just remember, like Luke can help him refresh his memory. So I like Grogu on his, like without the training that he's been going through, he is very powerful and we've seen that. I mean, he's this tiny little thing, but for being so tiny, I don't know, like he's very vulnerable, but at the same time, he's so strong. And I think some more training would be really beneficial, and just like seeing him like reach his potential would be beneficial. But I don't know if he's going to choose that. And I do notice like they both kind of like let go. At first they're both like Din and Luke, they're both offering this protection to him from what they know, and saying that like loyalty and solidarity is like how we achieve this. But for Luke, it's like, no, you need the non-attachment. So I don't know. I do think like emotionally he would choose Din, but I don't know. I'm kind of stuck. I'm not sure whether he is vulnerable or not.
Yeah.
And like how like his strength or not.
Yeah, that's my whole thing.
I feel like the best decision for Grogu is to stay with Luke.
Yeah.
But emotionally, it might be too much.
But yeah, what I'm saying is based on what Gray said, like you made me think about it, and I don't know if he's actually as vulnerable as I thought he was. Because in the episode, yes, we see him like balancing on one leg and doing some flips, and he picks it up pretty quickly. But we didn't get to see like what else he could be able to do. And I think you make a good point saying that he has already done 50 years of training, and that is a lot for anyone. Most people are maybe like masters
and
by
Luke
then.
Luke has like 2 weeks of training, and everybody thinks he's the greatest Jedi ever, and he has barely any training.
It has been 5 years though since return, so now he's got some training under his belt.
From who?
Do we?
From Yoda?
Sacred Jedi text.
Guys, come on,
No,
sacred Jedi text. He
Do we
didn't?
know if he has the sacred texts?
Apparently,
with
he
him
wrote
right
them
now?
though, so I think he wrote them as the Rise
He
of
didn't.
Skywalker.
He didn't
technically.
write them because Yoda wouldn't have said page turners they were. And have you read them all? Basically, and he's like, no.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
He didn't write
Yeah, no,
those.
they're the original ones. I think they were in that library on Octo.
Yeah, they said they see the
Mhm.
original Jedi texts.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he didn't.
gets them
Yeah.
on Octo then.
Mhm.
Okay.
But
Mm.
Michelle.
All right. I mean, with this entire thing, what I really think is when Mando went to give Grogu the armor, he made the decision not to go and see him. Ahsoka's like, "Do you really want to do this? Are you doing it for him? Or are you doing it for yourself?" And he was like, "I'm not gonna go see him, but give this to him." So Mando made the decision to not see Grogu again. But I don't think Grogu's aware that Mando made this decision. Like, I want to see you, but I'm doing this for your own sake. I'm not going to see you. So I still think that Grogu's going to end up picking Mando. Luke's going to bring him back to Tatooine, but then Mando's just going to tell him, like, listen, like, you're better off, like, training with Luke. I think that's where you're going to, like, thrive and be better. Like, I'm going to miss you. Like, I won't forget you, this and that. And that he's going to leave. Like, Grogu's going to end up, like, agreeing with Mando in a way. But I just don't think either of them are aware of, like, what page they're on because they never interacted. It was all through, like, Ahsoka and Luke. So I really think that it's going to be, like, interesting to see how that unfolds in the last episode because they don't know
I do have
where they're at.
That's a great
I
point.
do have one other thing
like
to
that a
say,
lot.
and I just remembered. You know how Beth is going through all of like the legal records, and
Yeah.
so she made a video. Oh no, it was while she was live. With Camilla, she was like going through it. She was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna do. They just licensed Mandalorian Father's Day merch. So why would they do that if Grogu isn't in it?" I remember, like, I thought of that after the episode. Like, why wouldn't like they?
Well,
have
sometimes
I mean, because-
merchandising is like different. Like lots of the merchandising for
Mhm.
like the other films have characters with things they never held in the film. Like there's this one merch with Phasma having these two giant cannons on her shoulder, and I'm like, I don't remember that from either The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Or the
funny. If you ever want to laugh, just like look up merchandise for Rogue One, The Force Awakens, or like The Last Jedi. It's ridiculous.
But
I really like Michelle's point there because I was heavy on I think Luke's gonna come, and I think it would make a lot of sense, and it like for Din to reject Grogu, and then it would just like, oh, my heart couldn't take it, man. My heart couldn't
It's gonna
take
hurt, and I think it's one of the most painful options, which is why I think it's gonna happen because
Which is
Filoni.
It's Star Wars.
it.
Yeah, we know
Which is-
Filoni by now.
so
Well, Filoni's not writing the next episode. That one's,
Oh.
I think, just Favreau. I don't know who's directing it yet. They usually announce it like the Monday of
Yeah.
who's directing it. I hope Favreau. He hasn't directed any one episode yet.
Mm.
that's
Did he
true.
do the
It
season
hurt
finale
so
of season
good.
1?
No. Well, maybe he did.
Or was that Deborah Chow?
Let's look it up.
No. I'm talking about Book of Boba Fett. He hasn't directed one episode of that.
Oh,
No, I'm
right.
thinking who did the finales in Mandalorian.
Taika
man-
Waititi did the finale of season 1, and Deborah Chow
Taika
did
did-
the second to
yeah.
last episode.
Okay, I thought that one of them was John Favreau. My bad.
And then season
John
2
Favreau did the season
finale was
premiere.
Peyton Reed.
Yeah, Peyton
it's
Reed,
Mando
who
season 2.
directed Ant-Man.
Okay.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And
fine.
Yes, man.
Ant-Man
Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp in the Quantum Realm or Quantum Mania?
Quantumania.
Quantum Bum.
Yeah. I
Quantum
also liked
something.
Michelle's explanation of that. So good job on that.
thank you.
Like that would be the most like way to pull out our heartstrings.
Yeah.
Is to have Luke show back up, and then have them be like, have Grogu be like goes to him, and then Din goes no. Like this is.
So you
this
think
is-
that Din lost his whole life as a Mandalorian? He's not called a Mandalorian, and all he wants is Grogu. You guys think that he's going to turn Grogu away?
I think it's
Well,
a possibility.
I
It's not just.
don't
It's not just being. It's not just. He's being selfless. So he has that attachment, but he's
Mhm.
being more of a Jedi than he actually realizes. He's being
Right.
selfless instead of selfish.
Well,
Because
I don't think he's
then-
being.
No, go ahead.
I don't know who was gonna go first. I stopped too.
No,
I was just gonna say, on the contrary, I think that What was I gonna say? I forget.
While Carter's thinking, I just looked up the age for Jennifer Beals, who plays Garza Fwip, and she's 58.
58
Yeah,
no,
same
years
age as
old.
Fennec Shand
That's
or Mignola.
crazy.
I am a huge
Yeah.
fan of hers. I've been
That
watching
is
her for
literally
many
fine
years.
wine.
There was
I love that woman. She's the
there was-
hottest woman in Star Wars right now, literally.
Oh my god.
Not gonna
I-
disagree with you on that.
Crazy.
Especially
I remember
yeah.
I was gonna say.
Especially
is
when we
that-
got oh, did you figure out what you were gonna say,
Yeah.
Carter? Okay, go ahead, go.
On the contrary, and I don't think this would happen, but would Din want to turn Grogu over to another, like the Jedi isn't like a creed like Death Watch, and Din sees how like that affects him? Would Din be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna turn you over to the Jedi, who are kind of like the same thing"?
Well, and also
I don't think he would, but I think that could definitely, if he
Well,
weren't to, that would probably be his reasoning.
could I
Why would
ask-
I go? I know how that affected me in my childhood, and Death Watch affected me. I don't want to just send Grogu off with that. I don't know. I don't think.
Oh, Death Watch is a little bit different. Death Watch is like
Yeah.
a terrorist, and Luke is just Luke.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna take back Grogu just because it's kind of what Luke said, but I don't think it's being a Jedi. I think it's being a parent. He knows that, let's call spade a spade. Din doesn't really live the safest life. He takes
Agreed.
bounties.
Right.
He kind of sold himself to Bo-Katan in season 2. He's helping Boba Fett. Like, we like Boba Fett because he's a cool character, but Boba Fett is still a crime lord. He's still doing crime. He's still putting himself in danger.
Exactly.
Dan almost cut his own leg off with a darksaber. He's not living a life that's going to influence Grogu the best. And even if Grogu might grow to be able to handle himself, Din won't. Din is a fleshy meat bag inside armor. He's going to die one day.
Yep.
And with Luke, he can learn to deal with his emotions the right way. He can be in a safe environment. With him, he's going to be hunted, always on the run, potentially having to watch. Din doesn't want Grogu to see him potentially die one day, and like, he wants Grogu back, and Grogu wants him back. But what's the best for Grogu to grow up as a well-adjusted person? A life of crime on the run, or a life with the Jedi?
And
Yeah.
also the other thing too is like Din's going to be taking on a mantle of being the leader of Mandalore. Like, this is how this whole thing's going to end. He is going to become the one true Mandalore. This is all one big thing that's going to happen, and he's going to take over Mandalore. Whether he takes out Bo-Katan, or Bo-Katan is like, I've already done this whole song and dance. I don't want to do this anymore. And Din gets all of Mandalore to rally behind him, and they take back Mandalore for once and for all. I don't think he's gonna want Grogu in that situation. I feel like he's gonna be selfless. He's gonna give up that want to be with Grogu because that's what's best for Grogu. It's not what is best for Din, but it's what's best for Grogu.
There's also that, and the entirety of season 2 was him finding care for Grogu.
Yeah.
So I don't see him doing that, then going through that entire emotional trauma of giving him away, and then furthering that by what we see of him turning away and just telling Ahsoka to give him that, and then him leaving again. Like, I don't see that playing out as Din just accepting him straight away or taking him on with him. And as I said before, if it was like that easy, it just seemed like a little bit of a smack in the face to Mandalorian's season 2 finale, because most of the emotion from that scene was going, they're breaking this like duo we've seen ever since the start of the show apart, and that was like where the most of the emotion was, for me at least. And I don't know, I just feel like just reintroducing them all back together like again in season 3 wouldn't be the best way to do it.
Yep.
That's all.
Anyone
I
else got
agree.
anything to add?
I agree. I was gonna add a point maybe of like an option, because if you really think about it, Ahsoka's kind of the Plo Koon in the relationship when it comes to Grogu and Luke, because Luke is very much like the Anakin for Grogu, while like that would be the like Plo Koon would be very much with the Ahsoka relationship for that. So I feel like Ahsoka may be like, you know what, I kind of changed my word on like where I originally stand in this. I'm gonna let you basically, I'm gonna take over Grogu basically because I changed my mind on the whole attachment thing. He needs his path.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Ahsoka stepping in as the new master.
Yeah. Char?
Well, I don't really have any thoughts on it. Let's be honest.
He's like, it just.
Hey, I'm the proctor of these questions, so
Yeah.
I'm just
Go
here to
ahead,
hear
hit
what
us
your
with the
guys'
next
thoughts
one.
are. All right, so question 3. Cad Bane, the man, the myth, the legend. Do you think he will survive in the finale, or do you think he will die?
I think he'll survive. He's a
I think he's gonna
moneymaker.
If he survives,
Die.
he will have to most likely be in other projects.
I think that's the
He's a
point. It's
moneymaker.
Filoni.
I think that they would want to keep the moneymaker. That's all.
I mean, like,
Mm.
why
He's
would
dead.
We'll
He's
start with
gone.
we'll start with Hereth. We'll start with Hereth.
Yeah, Harris.
You
go
just
ahead.
see me shaking my head.
I'm sorry. I didn't wait for my turn. I'm sorry about that, guys.
It's okay. I
No,
know
you're
it's
fine. I
yeah,
like
It's an open
it.
conversation. It's an open conversation. We just let people jump in.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, honestly, I kind of agree with everyone else. I feel like Cad Bane's gonna die. I feel like it's gonna be kind of that recreation of like the deleted scene we see of Boba and Cad Bane just draw a duel off. Like,
But
this
Boba
time-
already has the dent in his hat. I mean, in his helmet from the storyline.
He
So
can always get a bigger
that's
dent.
already done.
he can
And
get shot somewhere
there's-
else.
It's a bigger
Do-
dent.
Do you mind if I add something
He'll get a
quick?
second. He'll get a second dent. Yeah, you can get jumping else.
Crotch
Maybe I just don't
so-
know what happened, guys.
So, like, I think that scene is going to be canonized because of what's said. So in Bad Batch, when we see Cad Bane again, he's got that metal thing over his head. Like, he's got it. Like, I think it's some sort of
Yeah,
metal
it's
plate.
like-
it's like half of
Yeah,
his head over
exactly.
here. So it's
And
already
when you
happened.
listen to him in
is
the
a cold-blooded killer who works
And
with
yeah,
the Empire.
Exactly. You listen to that, he's got a vendetta, and then he specifically says, "You should have kept your armor on." How would he know the blaster resistance of my armor? Maybe he tested it himself by shooting the head.
You know, he
My
could
question
have a
is, how did he
Bactapod
know?
like Boba.
My question
Yeah.
is, how did he know that Cobb Vanth had the armor?
I
I'm
mean,
guessing he
well,
did some
think about it.
scouting before they met.
Probably.
I mean, Pikes
Probably
could have
asked
known for a
around.
long time and told him. I mean, the
Mhm.
Pikes are
Good point.
everywhere.
Good
The
point.
fall,
yeah, you
you
also have
know,
to
they
think
could
about
have
like
little
how
spies everywhere, and they could
this
be
is
like,
the
"Hey,
same
man."
time frame, same timeline of Mando season 2.
It's only been like a
Yeah,
month.
exactly. Like, yeah, like I think that's going to remain canon, and that's why Cad Bane's got this vendetta, and they're going to recreate it, except only one of them's walking away. And honestly, if they do a standoff and both walk away,
They
It's
both walked
just-
away last time. One of them has to die this time.
yeah.
Hold on. Let's be real here. We're missing out on
Fennec.
on something. Yeah, exactly. Fennec.
That's what I was just gonna
I
mention.
mean, she.
They would not
she
have
had-
put in. They would not have put in Finnick versus Cad in the Bad Batch for no reason. Let's
Agreed.
be real.
Yeah.
I think
That's
the
true.
rematch is coming. They did that. They did that on purpose. They know what they're doing. They're smart. I
Mm.
think they did that on purpose.
I'll leave that answer of
I
mine.
wanted to
just
be
right there.
ruthless. Like, I love both of them, but I love ruthlessness.
Mm.
Anybody else?
They have to keep Boba Fett alive because he still has to meet Omega. So you know,
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. Are we
And
gonna
Omega's
get a
like
confrontation?
one of my new favorite characters.
I need
I
that.
wonder if we're gonna get a confrontation of Cad Bane and Boba, and he says something like "your sister," and he's like, "My what?"
What
That'll
about
be
Chrysanthemum?
great.
Why do I
Chrysanthemum
have a
could
bunch
take on
I
Cad
know.
Bane and just like total him, but he wouldn't die.
Mhm.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
going to
What
be a
happened-
big battle with
That's
a
like
bunch of
for
different bigwigs. I can't guarantee that Cad Bane's going to go against Boba
Yeah.
on a Rancor.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And he, you know what, you guys, he didn't have his jetpacks on his boots, which actually was a big thumbs down for me. But so
He
it's
could
not like
reattach
he,
him, I guess.
I
But
guess,
Boba's
but I've
like,
never
"Man,
seen
I
him
have
without him
millions
He's
before.
so-
So if he
he's
doesn't
so
happen
old.
to have them,
He doesn't have insurance on them anymore.
Well, that-
he's old. They're not allowing. They took away his boots, his rocket boots. Okay.
Here's the more
To-
important
to-
question:
he
Where's
had to have a
Toto?
license and he didn't pass the
Where
exam.
I was
Toto.
wondering that. Where the heck is Toto?
He died.
Well, he didn't have his ship. and Toto stays at the ship more often than not. And he
Okay,
walked
true,
across the desert to
true.
make it seem more dramatic. So, you know, the Xandu
He got
was out.
dehydration just for
Yeah.
his entrance.
That's why the skin faded so much. He just hadn't drunk for like 3 days for dramatic effect.
He's like, I'm gonna make this. This is
Because
gonna
he has
be
a
the best
ship. It's
dramatic.
the Xandu blood, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I would have just found that scene a whole bunch more funny. Like, I know we're having this standoff. Could I trouble you for a glass of water? just a small glass. We'll get
and-
right back to it.
Or he
I
just
just
like
have to
starts
say-
sifting through the sand, finds one of those fruit things, and just
Melons,
drinks it.
the
and
melon.
that's it.
The melon.
The Melu run.
Maybe
I just thought
once.
I thought Cad Bane looked so menacing. Like when he asked, he was like, "Hey, I didn't get your name again," and his lips like tightened up,
Yeah.
and he just looked terrifying. I actually did not like the little recreation of him. It looked too much like a cartoon.
It's
I
I
didn't like
was
the
super
recreation.
happy.
Like, no
with it.
shade to the guy. I actually like the guy who does all those things, but like,
For sure.
Yeah, I
it
didn't- I
looks
didn't
it
like
looks a
that.
little weird because it's been years and he shouldn't look like he
Yes.
looked like
Yeah.
almost like
Exactly.
Yeah.
what
And
what
so-
it's been like 30. It's been like 30 years.
35 years or something. Yeah.
Yes.
It's cool edit, but like,
Yeah. Like
Cool.
we can't all be like Ming and just not age for 3 decades. Like other people age.
Or Bo-Katan.
Ming.
I
Oh,
don't really get much older.
Bo-Katan.
I stay pretty similar looking for a long time now.
No, but who have we not heard from on this one?
I actually forgot what was the question.
Yeah, what was the question?
Talking about
It-
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
Well,
you
you
Michelle,
know.
did you
tried.
go?
Oh.
Vanessa, did you go?
I didn't. I mean,
Oh, and Michelle didn't go. Yeah.
I think he's gonna die because I mean he's already old or like near his death date or whatever you want to call it. Who's gonna kill him? I have no clue. I think Fennec's gonna have a go at him. Boba, Luke, maybe even if he ends up going to Tatooine with Grogu. Who knows? I think everyone's gonna have a go at him. Not sure who's gonna kill him, but I think if we see him in future projects, it would be some kind of like flashback type thing or like set before that episode. Because I mean,
Yes.
he's old.
If he
Yeah,
dies,
that's-
I know.
Like it's going to be painful, but again, it's the most painful
He's-
route. So
Fennec's old like that too, by now.
right,
She's been repaired.
so she
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but
but-
she's still older.
Yeah.
she's considerably younger than Cad Bane
Bane?
'cause she was new.
Okay.
Yeah, he
to
called
the-
her like a kid in Bad Batch.
Yeah,
whenever
she-
she-
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
thought that was just because she was new to the guild, maybe. I didn't think it was due to her
I
age.
assumed it's related
Okay.
to the age.
What
of
did
the
When
you
I'm
like-
role.
sure that the prosthetics are gonna help her.
yeah, she'll probably get an extra
Spring 'em
20,
out a
30
bit.
years of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Before you know it, she'll be jumping up like 20
Which-
foot tall buildings.
I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't like a big fan of the cyborg people when I first saw them, but then I really like how they use them with.
I
Fennec.
love the mods and I despise the mod bikes.
I
love the mods.
Bikes are the cool
And I
bit. The
despise
bikes.
Yeah,
their
Oh, the,
bikes. And
the mopeds. The mopeds.
That slow-mo chase was like Power Rangers. I
If they
just-
put it to 1.5 speed,
And-
10 times that.
And that was one of my only gripes with this. Like I said, I love almost everything about it. I didn't like the bikes and that slow-mo speed, and then that Tusken Raider, you know, the female that taught Boba how to use the gaffy
Mhm.
stick and all that stuff. She was one of the most interesting characters I've ever seen in Star Wars. I loved everything about that scene, the train scene when he was taught them how to ride the speeders, and then how she like poked her little head up and went back down and kept taking. It was like hilarious, and I loved that so much, and I was so disheartened with the way they disposed of the Tuskens, like off screen so quickly, and it was just like boom, and you know they were like the natives of the land, and I was like, I'm native. I'm native of the Pueblo tribe, and you guys just you know,
Yeah.
just wiped them out.
It was
Like
a
they're
bit cheap.
nothing, and
It
it
was.
was a real bummer to me because I loved that character. One of my favorite characters, and it was just really
But
disheartening
is
to me
she
for that.
dead though? Because
know,
all of the other deads were like explicitly shown. Like you had the kid's gaffy stick, You had the dead leader tribe. Luke, why are you shaking up? It's gonna go.
Emotions to make him do it. Because I was
I
like,
think you're doing this deliberately.
Hereth,
good
Hereth,
sir.
do not do that motion ever again. You just did that on a live.
Oh, but
This
I've forgotten what I'm
stream is
talking
not
about
for
now,
children.
Luke. You've ruined it.
Listen, Bale. All I'll say to that Tuscan being alive or dead,
Oh yeah.
no one's
that's
ever
right.
really gone. No one's ever really
Exactly.
gone.
But like all of the other deaths got
Except for Mace
confirmed.
Windu,
Like
he's
we
gone.
had the chief lying on the
And
floor.
I said
dead.
that. I thought that, but
Dead.
I thought she would have come back already if she was going
True,
to.
but
I did. I
slow
had
murder.
high hopes for that because we didn't see her gaffy stick and the leader. We saw all that, but she hasn't come back. And unless she
I mean,
does in the finale, I don't think she will.
I mean, she could
I
come back in
always-
another show. Like they see the fan reception. Like, I mean, we killed her, but we didn't show a body. So, she's alive again. Here she is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would
Exactly.
love that. That would make me so happy, and then I wouldn't have that gripe anymore. And then I would only have the colorful bikes that use the little bit of water that they have on Tatooine to wash them all over
Oh
time.
yeah, that's
That's a fair point.
I
They
can't
could use
handle it, you
compressed
guys.
air.
I
Could be
can't handle it,
compressed air.
especially when a week's worth of water costs a month's worth of wages, and you just wash your bikes with it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Make it make economic sense, Gray.
And then,
can't.
and when the Tuscans like spilled that water, I was like, nobody would have
Yeah.
done that. No smart native of a desert planet would have wasted a drop of water.
It does seem they're very common because that Rodian got like 6 from like going around that tiny bit of sand. It's just
Yeah,
like not
And
particularly.
Mando only
I
got
love-
one.
Like-
Not Mando, but Boba only
Boba.
got one. I was like,
I
what?
love Gray's gripes. It's so funny.
Crazy.
I kind of agree. I think Cad Bane's gonna die. I think he's gonna die.
Oh,
I think it's
man,
time.
everybody thinks he's gonna die.
Yeah, but here's the
Guys,
thing. Like you
I'll
got.
be so sad.
But to be
Time's
fair, you
come.
got Filoni with like the Bad Batch season 2, and you got all these decades between like that and
Yeah.
Boba. So
There's
he's
plenty
gonna
of
be.
time for him to show
We're
up
gonna
again.
see him a lot. I mean, Obi-Wan's been dead since 1977, and
Well,
we're getting a
Lucas-
show with him in a couple
Lucas
months.
wanted to kill Ahsoka off from the start, so
Mm-hmm.
Good thing he wasn't allowed to do that. 'Cause God damn it, I would have
Yeah.
rioted.
well, I guess you're right.
Uh,
If they put out more Cad Bane, like when it was older, like
Yeah.
they
Give
did,
him
like
his own comic
that
run
would
or
be
something.
fine, and then I would be okay with it. I just got Cad Bane in live,
In live
action, and I just don't want it to go. It makes that's the only reason I'm saying this. It makes total sense that he would die. I just don't want it to happen that bad.
I mean, he might not. I really want to see Boba meet Omega, and I wonder if they're gonna use like
Yes.
Daniel Logan to do that
That's-
sometime
Oh,
before the
oh,
Book of
That's
Omega.
gonna
Boba
be the
Fett.
greatest thing ever, you guys. I'm more excited for that than Ahsoka. Seeing Ahsoka, I want to see Omega as much as I wanted to see Ahsoka, and I love Ahsoka.
So Omega is gonna be part of Crimson Reign or
What?
Crimson Dawn. Crimson
What?
Dawn.
She's not gonna be
Oh.
bad. No way.
I
No
mean,
way.
it has been some decades, and it would be the most Star Wars thing to do.
You know what's
Hey,
awesome
you
about
see
this?
this cute little innocent kid? They're evil now.
Yeah. You know what? Guess what? And guess who's gonna be your teacher?
Kira.
Amelia
Kira.
Clark.
Kira.
Oh yeah, that's her name.
We're gonna see
I call her
Kira.
Amelia
She's gonna be the
Clark
big
now.
bad of this whole
Is
Is
there-
there,
thing.
is
I'm
there, is there
jumping
any
off the roof.
foundation for this
But
theory, or is it just
Omega-
crazy speculation?
Crazy.
I
How
mean-
does that
Omega
hierarchy...
learned from Wrecker. I mean, and Hunter, and those.
I mean, they're probably all
So
they're probably all
trauma-
dead
trauma-
though.
Trauma does a lot to a person. If we haven't noticed from Star Wars, trauma in Star Wars characters don't go well. So I mean,
Fair enough.
a lot of shit could happen to Omega,
Unless
and then
you're-
she'd be
unless
like,
you're-
"This, I'm getting
unless you're
out of
Ezra,
here."
then you triumph through.
Yeah, we
Dark
we don't know that.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
Ezra's gonna be a good guy still. He's
Ezra
gonna be a Jedi.
triumphs.
Yeah.
Thrawn's
He
gonna
thrives.
Thrawn's
Ezra
gonna make him
thrives
go
through
to the
that.
ascendancy, and he's gonna be
I mean-
talking like Thrawn, and
Yeah,
Thrawn was
he's not
getting
gonna be
choked.
bad.
Thrawn was getting
He's just
choked
gonna
out by
learn to be
space whales last time we
better.
saw him, though. So I don't know how much leverage he got. You getting choked out by Free Willy? You better listen to me. You're getting choked out right now.
All Ezra had to do was just to tell them squeeze a little bit tighter. And...
Nah, but
I
we
mean-
love Thrawn.
I think
But-
Ezra will learn
But we
from
love
Thrawn,
Ezra more.
and he's gonna be just that much more clever and strategic. But I don't think he'll be bad. I don't think that at all.
Probably not. But
Last thing I'm gonna say about Ezra: imagine Ezra with Thrawn's mind, and that's what I think he's.
That's
gonna
what I was
turn
trying to
into.
say. Yeah.
he's gonna learn a lot from the old guy. I tell you what, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Back to
But
Boba.
who hasn't gone? Like I keep
I think,
asking this.
I think Vanessa. I don't think.
Yeah,
she has
Vanessa.
a book, I think.
I did not speak. Yes, you are correct.
You have the floor.
I'm not sure if he would die. I think the way that people receive that sort of tactic with Kingpin and Hawkeye, I mean, I don't think that they could really like see that and then like change things with Hawkeye. I'm sure that it was done before Hawkeye finished, but when I was watching my mom's reaction, she knew that it was Cad Bane right away. But I mean, she doesn't know his name. She's watched Star Wars with me like since I was little, so she's like familiar with all of the characters. She just doesn't know their names. So she's like, "Oh, it's that cowboy guy! Oh my god!" Like she's freaking out.
Love that.
But I just don't think that people. I think people just be like, "Oh, like he's gone." Like that's it. I also don't think. I saw a video that Hannah posted, discount Bo-Katan, and she was saying that we don't have a reason to hate the Pikes, but also like for people that don't know Cad Bane, we don't really have a reason to hate Cad Bane either.
Unless
But I would like for, if Cad Bane were to die, I would want it to be at the hands of Kira. Like he fails the mission or whatever, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry,"
All that,
and like
yeah.
off the screen, like a blaster shot comes. And
That
then
is a
failure.
very
No.
Vanessa, this is a great segue. Thank you. I will say this. Kira, she could strand me on a damn. What are you doing, Char?
The blaster.
Oh, the jump.
Jumping is so
Just Kira
Showing Grogu
could
jumping.
literally, she could literally strand me on a planet, and I would find my way back to her. I don't care.
I would
Hey,
thank
yo.
her.
straight simping.
I would find her.
shake
I
butt.
would find her.
just
You're ruining it.
And I would,
You're
and I would,
ruining it.
and I would just, you know what? Just, I'm here, baby. I'm here. Don't worry. You can
So,
strand me
back
on
to
another
that.
planet.
whenever Vanessa said we don't have anything to hate Cad Bane for, what if Cad
Stealing
Bane
children.
killed the Tuscans?
Well, yeah, in the show, I mean. In
Hey,
this-
hey,
in
hey,
what
hey,
he's-
hey!
Char,
You're
this
gonna
is
get us
not a
kicked off
watch
the
along.
stream, bro. What are you doing?
Copyright,
doing?
claim,
Like-
claim that.
Which shout out to my one friend who brought that theory upon me. What if
Well, I
Cad
meant-
killed the Tuscans, and that's the and like that
Possible.
like could be why?
But we didn't see that in the episode, is what I'm saying.
This is true.
Like,
And
we
that-
don't
but
have
they
a
would
reason
wait.
in this episode to be like, "Oh, I can't wait to see this guy die. Like, I hate him so much." You know, like, I just don't see that. Like, I don't.
Also, weren't the Tuscans
either.
killed like 5 years ago, according to the
Yeah,
continuity
but
of
it's
the
been
show?
but
5
he could
years.
still be. He could have been tampering with stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Fennec
Forever.
did mention like, "Oh, a bike gang can't wipe out a whole
Yeah.
group of Tuscan." I noticed
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, no, that's
"Hmm."
true. Actually,
Oh yeah, the
now I think about it.
bikers didn't kill the Tuscans.
And then they just
Somebody
never
else
followed
did.
up on that. Yeah.
I thought it was the Pauline though.
I think
Run,
Pikes.
Riven, die.
I think
Never
it's
die.
I think Star Wars lawyer said that he thought it was the Empire, and I kind of agreed.
Yeah.
Why would the
We haven't
Empire
seen
kill a
the
bunch
Empire,
of
though. We saw the
stormtroopers?
Pikes.
Tusken Raiders?
Char.
That's the best
damn
Char.
it.
I'm loving
You
that.
are gonna. We are at. This is our best episode. Don't get us taken down for copyright.
Copyright
Get outta
claims
here.
galore.
You will actually
I'm
come.
just showing
he's
you a video
okay.
on my phone.
He can show footage
Captain
for
Pennsylvania.
6 seconds before the copyright takes you down.
Oh, he's extended 6 seconds by now. Bloody hell.
But
I
anyway,
love Captain Pennsylvania's name. Shout out to Pennsylvania.
That's my bud.
Cad
Oh, really?
Bane
We
will kill
played
Boba.
D&D together
Oh, nice.
Nah, no,
Yeah.
Boba's not dead yet.
every
Boba's got
Monday.
more.
They could kill him technically. I mean,
Char
what's
be punching the air after the finale.
What if they like both shot each other?
and they both died in each other's arms. So
Oh.
romantic. My heart will go on starts playing in the
Yeah,
background.
you know how Rey and Kylo Ren had that thing at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Cad Bane and Boba. No more words.
Wait. Who's Ray and... Oh, good lord! Just stop. For the
Continue.
love of God.
Continue. I like this chaos.
Wait, I don't want to get us copyrighted.
Yeah, thank you.
You've
Somebody
been
Covers don't-
singing this
The
entire
covers don't get you hit by copyright. You
I-
can keep
I-
singing. Covers
I
don't
thought
get hit.
Boba was gonna start dating that Tuscan at some part, and I thought she was gonna be a way bigger part of the show, and then she was
Hey.
just gone.
Hey, you know, Boba's got game. But yeah, what have we've gotten off topic? I don't even know who hasn't talked
Mentally ill
yet.
Sith Lord does raise a very good point on the why it wouldn't be the Empire.
Okay, because
Why?
the
How
Empire,
do I? Yeah, that one.
the Empire would not operate on such a well-known world this far after the end of the war. This
They
is
would
true.
be they stick to the unknown regions, and
Right.
that they wouldn't
Mm.
be going into
This
the
is
unknown.
after
Yeah, because they're
Operation
building
Cinder.
the new order right now.
Wait,
First
so
Order,
then this
sorry.
is 9 ABY, which is 4 or 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Something like
The Battle of
Around
Jakku
then.
happened a year after Return of the Jedi, which is 6 ABY. So this is 3 years after the Empire supposedly disappeared. So I don't think it lines up yet.
So yeah, so it's
It-
just Ray Sloan and those guys out. in
And
the-
Yeah, but
company.
they're off in the unknown regions. I don't think they come back in until around Bloodline, if not before.
Well, Bloodline is when they. Yeah, I
Well,
think that's exactly when they.
they're
come back
already-
in.
Yeah. I guess they would.
Well, they could have like been. My point is, they could have been like slightly before them. They just didn't know about it and like that. But I don't think it's a viable assumption to think the Empire were there at that time. Because also stormtroopers aren't that accurate. Come on. Oh, they're really bad.
Anyway, but Char, wait, seriously though, who hasn't given their
Michelle,
answer?
you went, right?
Yeah, I think we all went.
Everyone
I think
went.
we've all
Okay,
gone.
good.
It's just
All
been an absolute cluster of a
Yeah,
conversation.
we
Char?
really went. We went everywhere.
Char, the next question 4.
All right, the next question is:
Char just is like, all right, here we go.
Do you so this goes back to Luke and Grogu. Do you think Luke forcing Grogu to choose between the armor and the lightsaber was morally correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. All right,
Yeah.
and why?
Yeah.
Because Jedi's have the power. Like the lightsaber is not supposed to be in use. Like nobody ever used a lightsaber much besides like the new like there's big spaces where they didn't use lightsabers, where they were just peacekeepers and they just trained. And I forgot where I was going with that.
The High Republic?
think
Is that
you're
what you're
making a good
saying?
point.
No, I said that they.
No, they fight all the time and use their lightsabers in the
That's what I
house.
Yeah,
said.
they
They
just
did then,
use it
but then
against
there's a big
blasters.
like space of peace, and then another like era where they use they use their sabers. But then there was a big era of peace before the Clone Wars, and they even stated it somewhere that nobody ever used their lightsabers.
I mean, they still had like operations where they go out and use their lightsabers. I still think it's fairly common because there are trade disputes and all that jazz and everything. So
Bandits.
That
rogues,
just requires them to
all
use
that
it.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. Michelle, I want your answer for
etc..
yes as well.
I think it was like the right thing because it wasn't Luke trying to force Grogu to be a Jedi just because he was there. He's like, listen, I know you have attachments to Mando, and I know that like you also have some like Jedi training, like which like he wasn't forcing anything on him. He was like letting him make his own decision, which I guess is kind of showing like you're not a kid. Like no one's gonna give you any, like no one's gonna tell you what to do. Like you can have your own choice. Like it's not gonna be an easy choice, whatever you pick, but like I'm giving you this decision. I'm putting it in your hands, so no one's telling you what to do. And I think that that's a good thing rather than just like I don't remember who mentioned it before. Like Anakin was just thrown into the Jedi. Like it's giving him like that choice to reevaluate where does he want to go in life. And
I agree with you. That's a great point.
Very well said.
Now, you also have to think, is Grogu mentally mature enough to make that decision himself?
Yes.
I believe so.
He is 50 years old.
He's
I-
old.
He
I would
has-
think,
he is a
but
to-
just
he
because
is a
he's 50 years
toddler,
old
though.
doesn't
He's a toddler,
necessarily
though.
mean that his mindset is the same
He's-
maturity level.
he's
See,
not a
I'm a
toddler.
little
The
confused. I'm a
toddler
little
doesn't do
confused.
don't
flips
know.
It
around
feels like
on rocks and
it
stuff.
feels like we keep jumping back and forth in the show. Like he's a child, he's a baby, he had 50 years of training. Here's a
Right.
Deathblade, he hang out with this bounty hunter. Like, is he a child?
Yeah, like if
I'm confused what they're doing with that.
if he's so mature, why do they paint him in such a childish light, and why can't he like use a vibroblade and like stuff like that? He's portrayed as very childish and was Well, it also goes back to that line: species age differently. I don't think that's just a matter of appearance. I think that's also a matter of mentality.
Yes,
in that respect as well. And I'm saying you can be trained to do stuff and still like act like a kid. Like you can get kids that are ridiculously good at maths. They're also kids.
I mean,
but, like,
look at what Vanessa has in her hands. Tell me that's not a child.
I mean, I have a pillow behind me with.
Bam.
he's
That's
got
a
the frog
child.
in his mouth
I have
in that one as well.
The three Grogu pop figures.
I think I've only got the one. I need to upgrade my collection. Oh no, I got this one. He's riding a banther, and he's got a little
Like a
Grogu on it.
Like a
I got a Grogu too.
So everyone
Oh,
just
man.
got some
Let's
kind of
go.
Grogu stuff.
I don't.
I've got a little minifigure Grogu actually.
Vanessa, what is your thoughts on that
His batteries are dead.
question?
Based on what I picked up from earlier in the episode, I think that Din and Luke are both allowing Grogu to make his own decision. Din just wasn't speaking to Grogu when he said it. He just removed himself from the situation. I also think that the timing of it was okay. He allowed him to remember his training. Oh my god, it moves.
He's got a little diddy one there as well.
But yeah, he allowed him to remember his training and to remember what it is like to be in a Jedi mindset, I guess. And I don't think there was anything immoral about that. I don't think there was any bias in what he was telling him either, because he was telling him like, you won't see him again. You can't you have a face. I do disagree with it. I just think that he was telling him, like, he was just being blunt about the situation, saying that you age differently, and you won't see him again if you choose this. And allowing him to know, like, what the stakes are. Whether
Char's
depending
got
on
like
the path
so
he
many
chooses.
Yodas.
He's just
Sorry.
Not
Jesus.
I agree. I
agree with you.
I agree
Vanessa.
with that. Yeah.
yeah.
Vanessa,
I don't
great
think
job.
he was like. I know that it was said that Luke has an ego, but I
don't think he has an ego.
I don't
think he was just
I don't
being-
think Luke can. I don't think that's possible, Luke, to have an ego.
Yeah.
At least that young.
Yeah, I didn't think he was
I
an
don't even
ego.
think he had
Well,
like
maybe-
ego in
well,
early
maybe.
I
legends.
don't know about ego, maybe not the right word, but
Well,
like,
hubris,
he's just
remember in The
he's
Last
just
Jedi?
Very,
yeah,
he's just
Yeah,
very
again-
thinks nothing. I don't know. I just,
The moment that moment, like Luke was talking about hubris, he was just talking
Yeah.
about like
About
arrogance
the-
in like one moment.
yeah.
Oh bloody
Yeah.
hell, Char.
Dude. All
I
right.
know,
Jesus.
dude. He's got so many
The
Yodas.
Grogu
Chris,
family
Chris,
of products.
Chris.
Okay, I think we do need an intervention.
Chris, I think
capitalism.
we need the this is getting out of hand. Now there are 4 of them. 5 of them.
Hereth, we have the same one.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm gonna need you on this one.
Just don't
Thank
have
you.
this attached.
But no, yeah, I mean Vanessa brings up a great point. Like it's not like
Match.
either one of them are forcing this decision on Grogu.
yeah. that
They-
makes
they-
it harder.
Yeah, because they're giving him a choice. And
Yes.
I feel like, especially as Star Wars as a whole, there's not a lot of choices that are given. I
Yeah.
feel like, especially with the Jedi, it's more like this is how it is, and we're just gonna go
Grogu
with
basketball.
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. Whereas Luke is starting to realize, see, this is where he's learned. He's learned that the Jedi have failed before. He's trying to learn from their mistakes, and he's not forcing his students into like a box. The Jedi are able to like elaborate, kind of like I wish Luke. I mean, he's talked to Elzar Mann, which is hilarious because it's in. God dang it, Char.
Keep that focus on the conversation,
Does
for
he
Christ's
actually
sake.
talk to Elzar, or does
Yes,
he?
yes,
talk
he does.
with-
No, he does talk to Elzar. And in one of the other panels, like he talks to
How does that
Elzar.
work?
Kitty cat.
Yeah,
It's
but
just through the Force. It's just the Force.
yeah, but
like he-
kind of the things that happen in the comics are like the second level of canon to like the on-screen things. Like I don't know. Sometimes I view them like I don't know if like the intention of Favreau when writing that scene was the same intention as whoever wrote that panel.
That's true. But like I guess my whole thing is like
I mean, they're both canon.
Luke is like trying to learn from the mistakes of the Jedi of the past. And especially with
Yeah.
Elzar Mann pretty much telling him like you don't need to be a Jedi. Like this isn't a path that you absolutely have to choose. If you want it, it's there. And I feel like he's giving the same choice to Grogu in that sense. You can choose this or you can choose that. Unfortunately, you can't have both, but at least he's giving him the choice. He's not taking that away from Grogu like the Jedi of the prequel era.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's my
I do
thoughts.
think that I don't, again, like going back to the morality thing, I also don't think it is a moral based on like everything that we have been saying, but also I'm thinking back to like a discussion in a philosophy class that I took, and it was about this young man, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to. I think there were 3 options that he had: to stay home with his sick mother, to become a priest, or to enlist into the army and fight in the war. And he had 3 people.
Sorry, I
It's
took
okay.
rid of it.
He had 3 people that he considered speaking to: his mother, and like someone that would enlist him in the army, and a priest. And like all 3 of those people would have a bias. Like all 3 of them would, tell him what path to take based on what they think would be best for them, or at least like that is what the discussion was about. And so essentially, like this young man, he already made his choice depending on who he approached. And I think that it is different with Luke. Like Luke is not saying, "Oh, with the Jedi you can do all of these things, but with Din, I think he did give him like a balanced option."
Yeah. Who keeps setting off Baby Yoda noises?
My cat. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I turned it off.
Mine. I threw mine across the room because I was
I
getting away
wouldn't
from
stop.
the
Anyway, so the philosophy thing, was that just conflict of interest, basically?
Yeah.
Vanessa.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you ask me?
The philosophy thing was basically just conflict of interest, or did I get the wrong end of the stick?
Interpret it wrong. I think that's
guess.
what he meant.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like if you have like a big life choice, you have to be careful who you approach when making it.
Yes.
You need to, like, when you ask people for advice, people are most likely to give advice based on their own experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be like mentally mature enough to make that choice. And I know, like, when there is a big life choice, a lot of people are like, they want the decision to be made for them. I'm not saying that Grogu wants that or that Luke wants that. I'm just comparing it to that, like having both sides of like what it could be and compared to what did happen.
True.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shout out to Jesse. He wants a shout out.
Of course he does.
Okiro, your thoughts?
It's Iroh.
God dang it! Whatever. I'm just gonna call him Iroh from Avatar. So there you go. That's your name now.
Nice. I have a reason to break my diet. I've been waiting for this.
There you go.
No, I don't think it was more. I don't think it's morally wrong. Like I said a little bit ago, I think personally, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll admit that, but I think he was just testing Grogu. Like, is this what you want? Do you fully understand what the life you're about to live is what it's going to be like? That's what I personally saw it as. At least I hope, just because never in The Last Jedi, never in the novelizations did Luke ever talk about attachments being bad. Even in Bloodline, Leia talked about how she was still in touch with Ben Solo. So, like, she was in touch with her son, and
That's a
Luke
good
still
point. That's
has
actually a really
Han, he has Leia, he has Lando, he has Chewie. He still has all these attachments. I just think he was making sure Grogu understood that your attachment to this particular person is a whole different life than being the Jedi, because Din was just going there to see Grogu, but I don't see many instances where Din's life and the life of a Jedi would cross over that much. And, Din is kind of doing a lot of dangerous missions back and forth. He might be ruling Mandalore. He might be fighting Bo-Katan for it. And when Luke found Grogu, he was captured by the remnants of the Empire on an Imperial ship, and they were all about to die. So I think he's looking at it like, kid, you can go back with your dad, but it's not the safest thing. But if you want it, do it, because my dad didn't get the option. Like, he went with Qui-Gon, and he wasn't sure what was going to happen to him, and I don't want to separate any kids. That's not what I'm trying to do at the Jedi School. I'm not taking you away from your dad. I want this to be your choice. Because he said that at the end of The Mandalorian. He wants you to be okay with it before he took him, but now Luke's like, well, are you okay with it?
Yeah, he wants his heart to be in it.
I actually love that point, because I wasn't even thinking about Bloodline, in the sense that Luke allows Ben and Leia and Han to communicate.
Yes.
So if Luke's logic remained the same throughout all of his teachings, which I would assume it would, then Grogu would be able to talk to Din. It would probably just take some time. He just needs to distance for some time to kind of realize, okay, I'm here, but I can still talk to you in moderation, kind of thing.
That makes sense.
That's a great point.
Yeah, because the stuff with Luke in The Last Jedi, it wasn't about attachments. It was, he thought in his hubris, in his own words, he could save Ben Solo falling to the darkness, but that had nothing. But Snoke already turned his heart, as he said in the flashback. But that had nothing to do with attachments or even his teaching. It was that he thought his nephew was too far gone. Mm-hmm. So he almost pulled a panic and pulled a lightsaber out on him. It's like, oh, no, I saw this before. I might have to kill him. No, he's my nephew. Let's not do that.
Oh my God.
But it had nothing to do with, like, attachments.
No. It's just... and Luke has learned so much, and we're going to get so much more backstory in the Lando Luke book, and also Rey's parents in Shadows of the Sith, which is going to be awesome. And I think they're going to have a lot of tie-ins from that book into, like, his teachings from Grogu and stuff like that. So I think, like, everything is going to be intertwined. But Bale, have you answered the question?
Sorry, I had to go to the toilet and get myself.
Well, thanks
a
for
bit
telling
of
us that. You could have just said go into the loo.
Right,
but
sorry. The loo toilet's the same thing. Sorry. Anyway, and give a splash of water in my face. I'm a bit tired. What was the question?
Is it morally right?
Oh my God, I'm so
well.
sorry.
Really, we don't really know much about Grogu's state of mind because it's not really been made clear. Yeah, he's 50 years old, but as said, species age differently. If he's still got that mind and mentality of a child, then yes, giving a child an ultimatum is not a good idea. However, in the more likely sense that he's more developed than we think, I don't think so. No, I don't think it's flawed. I think if Luke wants him to become a Jedi, giving him that decision to further him down a Jedi path, saying do that or that is a bad idea. I don't think he should be, the way he's phrasing it. It seems very much give up Din or like become a Jedi. That's how he's phrasing it, and I find that a bit odd to be coming from Luke Skywalker, who had this obsession with his father for like the entirety after Empire Strikes Back, where he put himself in, he nearly turned himself to the dark side to do it, and he's just like, yeah, no, you can't see him at all. Like it's a bit of a weird line for me, and I get it. It's maybe he's just reverting to the old teachings because of whatever reason, but like it seems a little bit questionable to me, simply because I don't see how this is going to encourage him more to become a Jedi, and yet again, we don't know how mature Grogu really is, and how he's displayed, and how the merchandise is on. Like you could hear the noises coming from like Grey's and Hereth's little baby Yodas. They were making like baby noises. Like
I hear mine in the
he's
back.
clearly like he's clearly marketed to be like a child. So
Yeah,
He made
like-
significantly less baby noises in the Boba Fett show, though.
this is true.
True. And
True.
it seems like he is picking up on his
And
teachings.
you know, he's
pretty
doing
fast,
flips
so picking up
around,
on-
and
Yeah.
he's offering him a lightsaber right now.
Yeah.
They don't give infants lightsabers, not even. So
Well, from what Luke said, he was training him less, and he was helping him remember the training of the Jedi. And Ahsoka did say he was already going through training, and like we know, they give those little kids laser swords, like at least around 6.
but they weren't infants.
yeah,
They weren't little
questionable.
kids. They were
True.
like 6, 7, and everybody's saying Grogu's an infant. So I'm trying to say that no, he's probably more like the 6 or 7-year-olds with the sabers.
I think if that's the case, then really I don't think the ultimatum's the right way to go about things. But again, that's just based off a very limited amount of knowledge, and we can't really tell how this is going to play out until
Yeah, the end of Mando.
the end.
Yeah.
I think they might leave it on a cliffhanger, if I'm completely honest. I don't,
We'll see.
because actually I'm not going to segue into that because that'll be a very long rant. I don't think you want that yet.
I am a little curious
but-
though. Why did Ahsoka kind of start this whole? I love Ahsoka, don't get me wrong, but when I think Grandmaster Bale probably feels the same way I did. Why did Ahsoka kind of start this whole thing out? Because Luke wasn't thinking of this. It started with Ahsoka when she's like, "Yeah, Din, attachments, this, that. I mean, I'm no Jedi, but I'm
Also-
going to start lecturing on Jedi stuff."
Like,
Yeah.
why
But
was Ahsoka there? It seems really odd that the one time Din comes to visit, she turns up.
Well, she could have
because,
been there for a
CGI
while.
Yeah.
She
I think
could've,
it's a
but then she
CGI
was leaving on the same
technology.
day.
I think it's just there's
just
no
a bit
way
weird,
Din and
that's
Luke, Din and Luke can talk as the CGI technology. So I
Well-
think we have to like suspend some disbelief
Have an
there.
intermediary.
Well, Dave Filoni said that Luke and Ahsoka have met. Maybe he was giving us the actual meeting.
I don't think that was their first meeting.
No, I don't think that was their first.
That was their
meeting
second
either.
meeting at least.
That's
Yeah,
obvious,
because like the way that she was
No, I
talking
just
about
meant
like
meeting
your
on
Oh,
the
father
like in
and-
general.
Oh,
Sorry,
In
I just
general,
meant in
yes.
general.
No, you're
Oh,
good.
yeah,
officially, yes.
And I
like,
think she could have been on the
exactly.
planet for a while,
But like,
Luke
think so
didn't seem
too.
surprised to see her.
I've got an entire rant about this episode, but I'll save it for a specific talking point.
You do that.
Yeah.
But Hereth, Carter, and Char.
I'm kind of see like I think I'm kind of more with Bale in the sense that I
Team
just
Bale.
I just feel like at the point where we see Grogu, like yes, he is remembering things fast. Yes, he is probably maturing very fast at this rate because he's remembering more things. But he's still not there. He's still not that teenager. Like, you know what I mean? He's still that 5 years old kid. I don't necessarily know if it was the right decision to give him an ultimatum. Just because, yes, you could give him 2 more weeks and he could his maturity could level up to act like he's 10 years old. And then give another 2 more weeks and he's 12. I don't know like how this is all going to work, but at the time that we got the ultimatum, his mindset is still pretty young. So I just don't know if it was the correct decision.
Yeah.
I think Luke knows what's best. I think Luke knows better than me. So I think he's probably doing what he
The
thinks is
right
best
thing, yeah.
because he's Luke Skywalker and some random outsider. So.
Hereth.
I basically kind of agree with Carter and Bale to an extent. Like, I already made a video about it on my channel where I basically talked about like how, like Carter said earlier, I think this is kind of like the first domino we're going to see fall, and it's just going to be a series of events that just leads to Luke where we are.
Yeah.
Char,
do you think it's morally acceptable? Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't think it's morally acceptable just because of the fact that I know everyone said that he's too young to make a decision, but I guess it's just the will of the Force will guide Grogu as to what's right or not. So,
yeah,
with time and patience, we'll see what he chooses. Well, that's just talking about us and waiting a week, but I don't. But I think he'll choose the lightsaber. That's my opinion. But the fact that Luke put Grogu into that situation where he had to pick one or the other, I think that was a little bit wrong, but I guess it was just a different way of Luke trying to play it safe as to what Grogu wanted.
Yeah.
And I feel like Luke has what he thinks Grogu's going to choose. And I think Grogu's going to pick the opposite.
And by all means, this could be a test. This could be like a way to see what's going on in Grogu's head, what he wants and what he misses, because I know Luke knows that him and the Mandalorian have an attachment. And it's going to be interesting how this will play out. And yeah, I think it was a bit wrong, but I think it was correct that he was trying to test to see how connected Grogu was to the Mandalorian. So
absolutely, that's a good point. Last question, Char, or do we have two more?
This is the last one.
Awesome.
Do you want to do this one and the kind of conclusion stuff? Is it a short question or?
This is a short question, but I feel like this could go by quick, or this could be pretty long. But what do you expect to happen in the finale?
Okay.
What do you want to happen? What do you expect to see? Share your thoughts.
And then do conclusion, like where you're.
The same questions at the beginning.
Okay.
So yeah,
for
for those of you who want to go ahead and start, of what to expect from this finale episode.
Don't all jump at once.
Someone go first.
So if she, I'm kidding.
I keep interrupting, so I was waiting to not be
Yeah.
like,
Same.
hey, I always have something to say.
Luke, why don't you go first? You've not gone first yet.
I haven't gone first either. I was about to take that mantle.
Or
Hey,
Char.
go Char.
Same.
Go Char.
We're gonna see my guy Boba Fett ride a Rancor. And maybe that Rancor will eat Cad Bane. I'm not sure what will happen, but either way, I think Cad Bane's going to perish pretty badly. We're gonna see Kira as the leader, or someone, or who Cad Bane is working for, and who's in charge of everything is going to be Kira. So we're gonna see Emilia Clarke in this episode, because I mean they've brought back so many different characters in this show so far, and it's gonna be great. I don't know if Boba will get more muscle. I don't think Boba will get more muscle. I was thinking like maybe he will need more. Maybe he'll need like Embo or another hunter.
Bosk.
Maybe Bosk is working with.
I want
Cad
Bosk
Bane.
to work with Cad Bane.
Yeah.
Either way,
I'm gonna
I
keep
just
my mouth
see
shut.
Bosk and
Because think
Embo
about
with
it.
his hound.
You have
That'd be great.
Bosk, you have Cad Bane and Boba, and then you have Bosk and Chrysanthemum.
That's not gonna mesh.
Bosk
We
is gonna
know
rip his arm off.
Chrysanthemum's gonna win.
Chrysanthemum and Bosk are enemies, and Cad Bane and Boba Fett are enemies.
Sugi worked with Embo. You could see the Zabrak Sugi.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
I mean, yeah. Wait, so Joss Amari, you're talking about?
Sugi is Jass's aunt.
Yeah.
Jaws Amari.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Cool to
wait,
see
Sugi,
her.
Jazzy
Sugi is
Mari.
Yeah, but I think that depending on how this finale plays out, there will be a season 2, depending on how it goes. If they leave it off on a huge cliffhanger, then there could be a season 2. If they don't, I guess this is a one and done. But at this point, we just have to wait and see.
Right.
It does seem like they're using that chapter format.
Well, they
So that-
they
that's
they
just to
they said the
continue-
Ahsoka
continue.
series was a limited series. They did not say this was a limited series.
In which case, I'd reckon they're probably in the second season.
Mhm.
Also,
they
given the
do-
fact that
If they do
most
that,
of this,
I'd be pretty excited.
Me too.
most of this like series, and I hate to be the one to say it, a lot of it wasn't really focusing on Boba Fett. Like, I think
No,
a second
not really.
season.
Well,
to
a lot of
focus more
books
on
still
what would be
focus on
cool.
the main character that the book is about. I mean, like
Boom!
all the
Yeah, but
time.
Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings is a good
I mean,
example.
The
Yeah,
Aftermath
but
series, like
that's-
tons of
But it's
Hobbit.
too.
but that's called the Fellowship of the Ring, not like Frodo.
Yeah.
Like if it was the
Not
Book of
the Book of
Frodo, and
Frodo.
like, yeah, I mean, and they did. And Rob,
I'm
I
not
kinda-
complaining.
I don't really blame anyone. I kind of think this was a marketing decision. Like they didn't have the story planned out when they said the Book of Boba Fett, and like, oh shit, do you guys want to change the name? No, we remade all the posters.
Or I think it's one continuous big book. The
Yeah.
Mandalorian is one continuous book. This
Well,
show
then
is
why-
just an interlude of the Mandalorian book
Why is it
to see
called
where
that?
it finish up. Because that's
Because
what
it's
I
a
mean. If you think about it,
chapter.
that's how like
It's a
a book
chapter.
goes.
Yeah,
book
but
will
this
go
is
with the
one.
main
This is a
character,
new
and then we'll
book.
go off. But
Why do we start at
but
chapter one?
because I just think that that's just how they did it. I don't know.
Yeah, that
Maybe
makes
it's a
sense.
series
As
of
I
books,
was-
but I think that there's like a large majority of books that will go with the main character off,
Yeah.
and like that's why Din is still in it because it's still kind of like his book.
It is.
As I've
I
said,
don't-
right, I'm not opposed to them introducing this new content. This new content isn't awesome, but to make another series, they need to focus more on the main character. And I understand, yes, you can have books that focus, but this is 2 out of the 7. This is a very 4 episodes. It's a 7-episode series titled The Book of Boba Fett, not the Book of the Expanded Universe of what's going on at this time. As I've said, I love what they're doing. I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, again, it's Boba Fett series.
Yeah, and they kind of did market it that way, and you had Robert
That's how it was
Rodriguez
marketed.
saying,
That's how it was.
"It's Boba's
advertised.
story. Boba fans will love this." And I'm like,
But
I'm
it's-
watching 5 and 6, like, Boba, where you
Right,
at, dog?
Yeah, as I've said, am I opposed to it? No, I'm not.
No.
But like, and
Oh,
I
no.
think it was probably a planned thing. So they're going to go, okay, we can do this, but then if we chuck this explanation in, and I think this could maybe just be because they can't fit it into Mandalorian season 3 because there's going to be so much going on. And if so, that's
Probably.
a perfectly viable
COVID.
explanation.
COVID.
Hmm.
COVID.
COVID,
also
yeah, they also probably had to
COVID-
condense a lot of things.
Yes.
True,
COVID probably
but-
played a huge factor as well. So
So they probably took
True.
an element from Mando season 3 and threw it in the Book of Boba Fett.
yeah.
Yeah. They did. They did say
that's-
almost all the Disney Plus shows suffered because of COVID. Everything
Well,
from Loki to
You know the CW shows that's like the Flash and Arrow. It started out with Arrow, and Arrow spurred off into a bunch of those shows, and some of his
Yeah.
episodes barely showed Arrow. It's not a new concept to do
Yeah.
this.
The,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah,
the problem
it's
is,
not.
in Arrow we got 24 episodes. In this we get 7.
yeah,
It's,
and
it's,
all-
it's
Yeah, but
so
their
much
episodes cost.
shorter.
It's all about cost and stuff because their episodes. This episodes are $15 million an episode. They can't make 24 of
What?
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy
It's the most
completely-
expensive show ever made.
Damn.
Book
Yes.
of Boba
And-
Fett.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure the new Lord of the Rings show is going to be the most.
Well, I
It's like
haven't
a
seen
billion,
it yet. I
It's
don't
a
know.
well,
I meant
like,
yeah,
now
you
that's
got
it's
been-
making $1 billion.
They already said
But-
it costed $1 billion to make the show.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. I mean, you got Jeff Bezos money. You might as well spend it.
$1 billion.
I'm just saying, in all the Star Wars books I
To make a
listen
show?
to and all the shows I watch, that this is just not a new thing. It seems
it's
very
not a
fitting
new
to me.
thing. No,
I 100%
but it's
agree.
to quite
I'm with
it's to
Gray.
quite a far extent. This is 29% of this show titled The Book of Boba Fett, advertised about crime syndicates and the Book of and Boba Fett,
Yeah.
and it's
There's-
not.
There's
It's
lots of
related.
Boba Fett stuff, and he has like 3 lines in the entire Star Wars universe.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
never marked. Yeah, but it was
It's-
never marketed as.
That was
it,
not
when I was-
marketed as. Yeah,
I think
sorry,
it's
Akira,
just
you
the
go ahead.
marketing
Yeah.
of the show, period. The
yeah,
show
that's it. Like no
Yeah.
one's saying it's
all
bad.
about Boba
Yeah.
Fett. Like, no, like
Yeah.
Boba Fett is in it. this is what happened around this
marketing.
time period.
We all know
Yeah.
that the marketing was hiding his stuff. Come on, like we're all like, okay,
Yeah,
there's something
I
behind this.
wonder.
Yeah, but
That's
you don't
not-
have to go say, "Hey, this is a taco stand. Here, have some spaghetti." Like that's what I
Yeah.
like spaghetti too. Like
Say
second we
spaghetti
go to-
tacos are
I
great.
mean,
you know?
tacos and spaghetti are not even in
Carly,
the same
spaghetti
ballpark.
Well, spaghetti tacos from like,
that's-
Carly are a thing.
Well, that's kind of my point. Like Ahsoka and Luke don't even get to see Boba, so they're like different. Don't get me wrong. The
Spaghetti
second we
tacos
left
are great.
Tatooine, I started crying tears of joy because I hate that planet. I'm like Anakin. I hate sand so much. So the less we spend on Tatooine, the happier I am. But you know, if I went to the taco stand and I got some spaghetti and meatballs, I would understand if I was feeling tacos. I'd be a little disappointed. I'm not.
Yeah.
I never want to go to Tatooine again. I'm going to Kenobi because I love Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. But like,
Yes.
every episode, I'm gonna be like, no more sand, no more sand, no more sand.
Yeah, that's gonna be like a good soldiers follow orders for you. I just imagine your eyes rolling back.
Yeah. But
What was the
yeah,
question?
yeah, y'all.
How do we
yeah,
think it will end?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How do we think
Let's
about
keep
it?
going.
Sorry,
God.
I got sidetracked. My bad.
Bale, do you want to go? Who are you? Where can we find you? And how do you think it's gonna end?
Yeah, sure. GrandmasterBale on TikTok. How do I think it's going to end? Well, Cad Bane's going to die. I reckon we're probably going to get Kira. Other than that, I'm hoping a lot of a lot of the actual crime syndicate stuff is going to get like focused on tying up in this episode, as we've had like less of that in the more recent ones. Like we've had a build up, and I'd quite like to see like a massive big thing on that scale. That would be like really great to see. But in terms of specifics, I got nothing. I do not know what to expect at all whatsoever from these next two. Well, this next episode even. Sorry. I hope it's long. That's the only other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Bale. Okiro, we'll just go down and up.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I'm expecting absolutely nothing because I don't want to take any expectations into. I don't want to take any expectation to anything. So I'm literally expecting a blank screen for 60 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, no expectations. But if I can say what I want, number one, give me Amelia Clarke as Kira because I'm a
Yes.
simp for it. I'm a simp for that
I am
character.
too.
So
Like
Yeah,
I
so-
said, I would let her strand me on Tatooine. And find my way
I was
back
about
to
to
her.
be like, watch what you say.
I would let her.
because you will get restricted on YouTube for explicit stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I would like to know. I'd also like Boba to appear. That would be nice, please. Besides that, though, I would like to see this whole crime stuff come full circle. I would, I don't think we'll get it, but I would hope maybe a little information on who saved Grogu from Order 66. Since you brought it up last episode, and you guys love breaking everyone's heart with Order 66. What's one more broken heart gonna do? I just want to know who saved Grogu. It's been bothering me since like season 1. But
Mhm.
if we don't get that, I'm perfectly happy just finding out what's going on with Boba, the Pikes. Maybe Amelia Clarke shows up and she says, "Hey, listen, I'm not gonna destroy Tatooine. It's your territory. Let's work together."
Mhm.
But outside of that, expecting nothing. Blank screen.
Where can we
And
find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Okiro. I'm the guy with the anime looking profile picture with the blue bandana.
Or
Awesome.
now as Uncle Iroh now.
Uncle Iro. Don't
Iro.
I might change my name to that. That slaps. I might like that.
Carter,
What about me?
go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to. I want a fight between Finnick, Cad, and Boba. That's all I want. And then maybe an Omega name drop, I think would be really cool. And then you can find me on TikTok at Cartoody2. And I have a podcast, They Fly Now, on YouTube. They Fly Now show. If you want to go check it out,
It's a great
you'd
show.
appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you, Gray. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for all coming on. And
Vanessa?
let's go to Vanessa.
I agree with Okiro. instead of like the expect to be disappointed, so like you're less disappointed, I'm kind of just like
Expect
have
disappointment. and you'll
no
never be disappointed.
expectations, and then you won't be disappointed.
Hey.
It's just
There you
kind
go.
of.
Okay, MJ.
I don't know. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with whatever they make, even if it's like not what I expected. So like this is great
Yeah.
that it's thought out and like people put like their effort into it, and this is a product of something that they made. I don't know. I'm happy with whatever they make.
During the pandemic, no less, too. That's a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
I think it would be cool to see the return of Kira. I would like a follow-up on the Rancor
Yes.
and Fennec saying, "We both know that a bike gang can wipe out a
The
group of
Tuskens.
Tuskens." But yeah, I don't think there's anything specific like, oh, like Obi-Wan is going to come back as a Force ghost. And wait, that is right time. I was like, hold on. Obi-Wan is going to come back as a Force ghost and come into the embodiment of Quinlan Voss, and they're going whatever. Like I'm not expecting random shit to happen. I'm just
Or Mace
excited
Windu
for it.
showing up for the love
Oh
of
yeah,
God.
No.
Mace
Let
Windu.
let
No,
that
yes,
die.
I will.
Let
Yes.
him stay
Yes,
dead.
bring him back.
No.
Iro,
If he-
Iro,
If he's
shut
alive,
your
I'm
pie
so
hole.
happy.
I will stop being a Star
Don't
Wars
promise
fan
me a
if I
good
post
time.
Windu's
Don't promise
alive.
me a good
I will
time.
literally stop. I will stop being a Star Wars fan if he gets brought back. I will burn
I will-
every single
Same.
book that I have. I will burn all.
Don't
of
make
these
Ed
No, what's
such
wrong
I
with
an
will-
empty
coming
threat.
back?
I will.
I'm not-
Ki-
I'm
I
not
will
on the
kiss.
Twilight
I will
train.
kiss Favreau from his toes till his skull if he brings
Hey,
back Mace
yo.
Windu.
Hey,
That
yo.
sounds bad.
Would
Let's
you say you? Oh no!
You
It
sound
registered in
horrendous.
my brain.
all right.
See all these
Vanessa,
pop figures
Vanessa, real quick.
burned.
Where can we find you on
Oh
social
yes,
media?
I am.
Even the Ezra one.
I am on TikTok as Vanessa Skak, and I make art, and I have a Redbubble, and the
Yes.
Redbubble is Vanessa's Visuals, I believe.
I like
if
your
you go-
TikTok.
Oh, thank you. I post links to like my Redbubble on my Twitter, which is the same as my TikTok, and you can see like the process of me making my art on my TikTok. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I have an Instagram, but I haven't used it in like 3 years. But if you want to follow me, go ahead.
Gray.
It's all the same handle.
Nice. Gray.
I never guess what's going to happen. The only one I ever guessed was that Luke Skywalker was going to be in this last episode. So I'm not going to have my hopes like up about something or not. But the one thing I do want to see is I want to see Fennec Shand tell Boba about his sister and either tell her or see her or something to do with that. And I would like Cad Bane to not die.
Best of luck with that.
And where can we find you, Gray?
I'm at Dawn of the Grey on TikTok.
Okay.
I think yeah.
What?
What is going on?
Chris, what are you doing here, man?
Okay,
You have
Papa.
forgotten who you are, and thus forgotten me.
What?
Is that
What's happening?
Remember who you are. You are my son, and the one true king.
I'm going to go tell my dad I have a new father then, because you do not look like him.
What?
All right.
I'm really
All
confused.
right. Sorry,
Me
Gray.
too.
Sorry,
Okay,
Gray.
really?
Sorry. We're gonna pull
Chris,
Mufasa
man.
out of here. Thanks, Mufasa.
Thanks, Professor, for your wisdom.
What? What?
That was great.
Where can we find you, Gray? Sorry.
Oh, I did say that. I was at
Sure.
Dawn of the
Okay,
Grey on
good.
TikTok.
All right. Michelle.
All right, so I'm Michellelang on TikTok. That's where you can find me. Unlike everybody else, I have a super specific thing I would love to happen that would never happen, but I like to dream big. So I'm pretty sure technically Ben Solo is Luke's first student. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like a confirmed thing. I would love to see just a scene at the end with little like toddler Ben just running up to Luke. I just want to see some kind of thing like that. And like with the
That would be
CGI
cool.
with Luke,
That
even
would
just
be
like a
really
2-second CGI of like Han and Leia's face, just them smiling. That's it. I'm
That would be
fine.
great.
That could be good.
I'm just
Yeah.
dreaming big. But like
If
that
if
was
it's
so
training, then no. But like that could be true.
That would be
awesome.
great.
That'd be great.
I-
like that would just be yeah.
And
I
That
technically
was-
think Leia is his first student. As
yeah,
the Rise
Leia
of
is
Skywalker.
technically. Yeah, Leia is
Well-
technically his first student.
well,
I think they meant first student at the school.
At the
At the
Yeah.
academy. See, Ahsoka says
Yes,
specifically
academy
at the
students, but-
academy.
Yeah.
So that's why I would love
Ah.
like just I don't know, a little Finn Wolfhard or something. Oh freaking no, just run up to him.
But Michelle, where can we find you?
Sure.
On TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, Michellelang, except for my Instagram, it is Michelle Aaron.
Okay,
Awesome.
who's next?
I think
Who's
that's
up?
I think
That's it.
That's it.
That's all the
Alright.
guests at least.
Well,
Wrap her on up.
thank you all for joining us this week on our 6th roundtable discussion about the Book of Boba Fett. Shout out to everyone in the chat who decided to join us. Shout out to all of you guys, our guests. We had an amazing time. So yeah,
Great.
thank you guys all for joining us, and we will
Yeah.
see you guys next week. I know we're gonna be live on They Fly Now this Monday. I don't know, Hereth, what are we talking about?
It's just basically just community episode. It's just
Okay,
you two, and it's just you.
So yeah, so we'll just be talking about something on Monday. And yeah, you guys, what's your next arc?
Next arc. Well, it's not next arc. Just next episode is Evil Plans. With R2, Cad Bane,
Hey.
and C3PO. So that'll be fun on
Mm.
Thursday.
Oh, I love that one.
We
Where they go
have.
for the Melu run, fruit run.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, and we have the final watch along on Wednesday. We have Open Circle Fleet, Camilla and Beth, Elena's from Sith Face Pod, and Cat Lady JJ will be joining us for the
love her.
watch along. So you can find me and Char every Tuesday night, Wednesday morning doing the watch alongs, Thursday Clone Wars, and Friday. I am not going to announce who we've got on for the roundtable, but let me just say, if you thought this was heavy hitters, we got the creme de la creme next week. So
Wow.
You
so you're
suggesting
calling
we're
our
not the
guest-
creme de
So
la
you're
creme,
calling
Luke?
our
I'm
guest this
insulted.
week?
Wow,
no, whoa, hey,
You
okay,
know, I don't
wait,
think I'm going to
wait,
be coming
wait,
back
Hey,
on
yo.
the Steam
Can I say-
podcast.
hey,
Thank you
hey,
very
yo,
much.
hey, yo,
Dang,
can I just
Luke.
say, like,
Damn,
like
Luke.
this is
That was
S
cold.
tier, like it, I would say you're all
No,
about.
no,
the
no, no. There's
same.
no rebounding. There's no
Dude,
rebounding.
no.
We're trying
Thank you all
How
for watching. May the
dare
force
you.
be with you.
That means you probably like Element 7 and Chaco and
May
I
the
said I
The
wasn't
big
gonna
hitters.
say.
with you.
All right.
All
May
right.